Yes, friends, welcome everyone on June 19th, 2026. We're here to provide information about Fibo and the Fibo Bot. As the name suggests, the Fibo Bot is a bot created based on the Fibonacci system. And today, MetTop, who has put a lot of effort into both the bot and its training, is here to explain and demonstrate how Fibo works for you. Birkin will also explain to you how the FiboBot works.
I'm ready, teacher.
You can share your screen.
Okay.
Let's continue then.
First, I'd like to give a brief introduction. Hello, everyone. By the way, my name is Metap. I wish you all success in your trading life from now on. So, what is Fibonacci? There is a Fibonacci sequence discovered by the Italian mathematician Leonardo Fibonacci, friends. I'll go through this real quickly, so those who already know won't get bored. It's a mathematical number pattern that starts with 0 and 1, where each number is equal to the sum of the two preceding numbers. When you divide consecutive numbers in this sequence by each other, you get a value of approximately 1.618, and this is called the golden ratio, friends. Here's an extra bit of information. Many mathematicians even say that the Kaaba itself is approximately in line with this golden ratio. You can see it in nature, whether it's sunflowers or seashells, and it's a sequence used in many fields like art, photography, architecture, and aesthetics. Of course, what interests us is its use in financial fields. So, how is it used in finance? One,
Hold on a second, Mehmet.
let me.
Just turn off these microphones.
Okay,
That sounds good. I think
my mic is on. Okay,
left.
so how do we use it in financial markets? Why is it important for us? In other words, the Fibonacci sequence is considered and used as an important technical analysis tool in financial markets. Where do we use it? Now, when you look closely at the financial markets, you will see that price movements and fluctuations always tend to progress in rhythmic waves. This holds true whether the asset is currently in a strong uptrend, a consistent downtrend, or even just moving within a choppy sideways market environment. First, I want to talk about impulse and correction for those who might not know. Let's say we have an uptrend to start with. Let's make it green. Now, impulse means an impulse wave, friends. It's a wave that pushes the price either down or up. Correction, on the other hand, means a retrace. So for us, if this is the upward movement, the impulse wave, then our correction wave, our correction, looks like this. Here, Fibonacci numbers are especially a tool that helps us calculate or predict at which level the retracement or correction will end after impulses. Now, I'm explaining this on TradingView. Of course, you can see it on many platforms. Fibonacci is always drawn from the bottom to the top in rising impulses. And the levels it reaches, look here, 38.2, 50, 61.8, 70.7, 78.6, and 88.6 are the ones accepted in financial markets. Some people also look at 23.6, but honestly, I can say these are much more effective in my opinion. Now, of course, the price can reverse from 38.2 or from 61.8. This is a sequence that allows us to see how the price is protected and find support when it reaches these levels, friends. And it really is extremely effective. I can say it's my favorite area of technical analysis. Now, of course, after the correction is over, after the pullback ends, what do we understand here? It helps us realize that a new impulse move can now begin. So after the new impulse move starts here, what I've been talking about, friends, is the Fibonacci retracement that we use to identify the correction. There's also the extension. There are others as well. Of course, there's the inversion too, but I won't get into those at all. They're not really relevant to us. I won't confuse you with them. Retracement is drawn from the bottom to the top of the rising impulse wave, or from the top to the bottom of the falling impulse wave. Of course, if we have a downward move, friends, like this, then we'll draw it from the top to the bottom. So this is important. In other words, we'll draw it from the top to the bottom, like this. When? When the correction starts, when the corrective move begins, why do we draw it? Because it helps us estimate where the corrective move might end. Well, can't we estimate where this impulse move will end? We can. For that, we look at the Fibonacci extension. So when I draw the Fibonacci on this impulse here, look, the 127.2 extension, 141.4, 161.8, and there are even higher levels. But speaking in more general terms, I can say that roughly 80% of the time, if there is a strong and healthy market trend in place, those impulse moves will typically start a correction right from the 127.2 extension level, my friends and fellow traders. Let this be an extra piece of information for you. If you want these settings, of course we can provide them. When we illustrate it in this specific way, what exactly appears right here in front of us is, in fact, if you want, friends can look here in the settings window and adjust it from there. Now, when we draw it on the rising impulse, the levels that appear below are our Fibonacci inversions. Right now, this doesn't really concern you much in this spot. That's actually why I won't go into it. Now, what I want to explain is this. In the world of technical analysis, Fibonacci retracement is a powerful and widely used Fibonacci tool that helps us accurately estimate exactly at which price level a corrective market move might finally come to an end immediately following a strong initial impulse wave. On the other hand, the extension is a Fibonacci tool that allows us to predict where the ongoing impulse move might go for a correction. Should I go further, professors? If you leave me to it, I'll explain other things too.
From my perspective, we can explain whatever you want, however you want, Professor.
Is that enough, Professor?
We can take questions. I'm curious.
If there are any questions about Fibonacci, yes, let's take questions.
After that, I'll go ahead and activate all of the microphones.
Take a look at these microphones right here.
I've turned them on, friends. If you have a question, you can unmute and ask.
Professor, with the correct swing movement, which time frame would be more suitable to determine Fibonacci? I mean, for retracements or as the final point it will reach?
Maytap, just a moment. Professor Medtalk,
Professor, you've muted my microphone.
I
I'm talking to myself here.
I didn't mute it. I told you, I'm turning on all the microphones.
I don't know, I didn't mute it. Now, before I answer the question, let me say this. To understand if a wave is an impulse, in an uptrend, it should break a resistance and close a candle body above it. No matter which time frame we're looking at, let's say it's a 15-minute chart or even a 5-minute, it doesn't matter. If this wave comes up to here but doesn't close a candle body, if it just wicks up, makes a spike, and then pulls back below this resistance area, then that's not an impulse, guys. That's just a fake out. In order for us to say that an impulse has definitely formed, there needs to be a candle body close above the resistance, a candle body close. Only then can we say that an impulse has formed here. In the opposite move, in a downward movement, the support must definitely be broken, and there must be a candle body close below it. Is the screen not showing?
Birchuan, I'm seeing a different screen right now. Birchon,
When Burkahan shared his screen, everyone's attention jumped to Burkahan's screen.
it's not looking at me. Open the other side.
Ah, sorry.
Stop looking at that over there and focus on me instead.
I'm also wondering what he's talking about. I'm just staring at it too.
Where should I pick up from? Where should I start?
No, it's not a problem. The language you were explaining got mixed up with the screen.
Okay. In a downtrend, a support level must definitely be broken, and there must be a candlestick body close below that support in the relevant time frame. If there is a candlestick body close, then we can talk about the existence of an impulse. Now, if we come to the question, if I understood correctly, whichever time frame we're looking at, let me explain it like this. Let me do something like this. Let's say we have a trend like this. Let's say this is our 15-minute trend. When we draw the waves on our 15-minute chart, this is what we see. But when we go down to the 5-minute chart, we can clearly see this right here. Let's change the color of this one too. Now, if the green one is the M15 chart, when I go down to a lower time frame, while my impulse on M15 is this green one, on M15, this blue impulse, then correction, let me zoom in a bit more. This blue impulse, correction, impulse, then it breaks in the opposite direction. Impulse. Why? It broke the support. You know what I mean? So, for example, this is the 15-minute chart, but when we look at the 4-hour chart, actually, my impulse is this one. That's why, whichever time frame we're analyzing or trading in, it's the impulses and corrections in that time frame that matter to us. Did you understand the question correctly, Alender? Did I explain it well?
Teacher, it was really good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So actually, I'd like to give a quick summary like this. Let's say we have an impulse like this. This is mine. It's an upward impulse on the H4 chart, but while making this correction, it can make this kind of move in the internal waves. It doesn't just correct itself directly like this. It comes down. Now, I'm still green in the internal waves. Afterwards, in the internal waves, now right here, I have a support level. It reached it. The moment it broke this, I turned red. Let me even give you a bit of technical analysis info. Since I have the mic right now, so do I immediately look at T-bone neck here? I immediately drew it on my impulse. I drew it on my upward impulse, and I see that a correction move has started. Now look, this correction move has come all the way to 50. Like, is it finished? No. Then it came to 70.7. Is it done? I still don't know. When can I know? It will come, and here it will stop breaking support for us. Stop breaking support in the inner waves. It will protect this support for us. It won't close below it. It won't make a body close below it, and it will break a resistance here. Then I can say, okay, it has finished this impulse correction. Now I can say that a new impulse move can begin. Otherwise, it could even go down to 88.6. We can't know that. But what we do know is that if we're buying something, we should always buy it at the cheapest price. Now, when you enter from these areas in the bot and set your stop here, your stop loss is this much, while your take profit can be much longer. So, thinking about the logic of buying cheap and selling expensive, or selling expensive and buying cheap, is also very important. Now, here in the larger time frame, we have an upward impulse, yes, but in the internal waves, let's remove this for me. This is also an impulse for me. I immediately drew my Fibonacci. It comes and makes its correction. Now, today, I'm trading on M1 with a robot. What am I doing? I'm using this wave as well. I can enter here, take the profit from there, and get out. So we can also trade within these internal waves and in the main waves too. Which time frame do you trade in? Are you a daily trader? Are you a long-term trader? Are you a scalper for 1 to 2 seconds? You will be the ones to decide that, friends. Now, if there are any other questions, I can take them.
Hello, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm here. Good evening, everyone.
Hello, Mahir. Welcome.
Thank you. Now, sir, while I was thoroughly testing this eVolt system, I actually came across a few interesting things. But when measuring a specific wave, normally the Fibobot should also automatically draw one of Fibonacci's waves as well. That is, it should draw from the high to the low. However, when I checked, in some places it doesn't draw to the exact tips of the fractals, but instead to the fake pins in between. In these marked areas,
It opens a trade.
it tries to open a trade. So since it can't place the stop loss in the right spot above,
The bot.
crashes. In other words, normally it should place the Fibonacci from where the impulse starts to where it ends so that it works properly.
I can answer this question technically. When I was designing the bot, when I was writing its code, I didn't allow this. What you said is correct. According to Fibonacci rules, Fibonacci is actually only drawn and measured on an impulse wave, and entries are taken from there. But the setups I found recently are on time frames like 15 seconds, which you normally can't trade on in CFDs. Since we're doing this on ATS and we can trade down to 1 second on ATS, and because my backtests and observations showed that non-impulse waves actually work better, I didn't make this mandatory in the bot. It's just because I didn't stick to the impulse wave measurement. Right now, there are two options there for wave selection, classic and major. Classic selects the last wave. Major, on the other hand, selects the impulse, just like you said. But I'm going to make another update on top of that because everyone is running the setup I found on the 15-second chart. I see it every day. Dozens of people are running it just on the 15-second chart. Very rarely does anyone use it on the 1-minute chart. If you use it on the 1-minute chart and wait for an impulse, you can only get 5 or 6 trades a day. So you can't get many trades that way. That's why, since I didn't make this mandatory, it sometimes enters from the middle or certain spots. Because when you set the swing to 2, as soon as it sees a 2 on the left, it says, that's the top for me, even though there's a bigger peak right next to it. That was something I did intentionally.
That's right, sir. Now, I checked a few times on the 15-second time frames. Sometimes, I don't know if you call it the market maker or the manipulator or whatever you want to call it. It throws out these fake pins. Those pins sometimes reach the significant tick count we want, like 77 or the 20 we have set. So it starts taking trades there. So actually, I try to cancel it at certain points. Because when I look at the overall tempo, that's basically how the process goes. How should I put it? It tries to go long when it should be signaling a sell because it catches something there. It seemed like it couldn't analyze it correctly. It's not because I'm criticizing. Please don't take it the wrong way.
I won't take it the wrong way at all. Criticize as much as you want so we can fix it if there's a mistake.
Of course, of course. You know, over there, I kind of played a poor guy a bit.
Yeah, this
I want to add something here. In Addis's replay, since we do it fast, it turns out wrong. So we need to reduce it to the minimum. I don't know at what speed I did it, but for example, I've been working on this for days. I'm following the waves with my eyes. I'm measuring and calculating. Is it measuring correctly? Is it opening from the right spot? Because I'm trying to find the set. And honestly, even at 20 times speed, it makes mistakes. You need to run it even below 20 times. Let me just say this to everyone. Anyone who wants to check should know this. So at 50 times, 100 times, 200 times, definitely. A tortoise makes mistakes at those speeds, guys.
Guys, here's the reality. Let me put it the way it's written in the TOS's documentation, in the replay documentation. 135, at most 5, is the maximum speed you can run on a 1-minute chart. If you run it at 20 times on a 1-minute chart, your analysis is meaningless. The only reason they let you go up to 1,000 times there is this: open a 15-minute replay. Try 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, 100 times, the candle doesn't even move. You can't do a replay. It would take you 3 days to analyze just one day. That's why they put 1,000 times there. You can only use high X on high time frames. So anything above 100 times is just a parameter set there for analyzing a 1-hour chart. On the 15-second chart, the recommended maximum is 2 times or 3 times. That's it. And since we can't even analyze a full day at 2 times or 3 times, we ended up building our own backtest engine. Normally, if you consider that a task processes a 15-second chart for a whole day in one day, right now we can process a 1-day chart on a 15-second time frame in about 1 to 2 minutes. If you're going to use Ripley, make sure to follow its rules, because the numbers you see can change drastically. Let me put it this way. Run it on the same pair, same time frame, and same time interval. Run it 20 times with your own setup. Write down the result on paper. Then run the same replay again. Don't do anything at the same speed. The result will still come out different. Since I saw this myself, and because I didn't trust Atanis's replay, I set out to create our own replay. That's why what you see in live trading is much more important than what you see in the replay. I'll explain the details in a bit anyway.
Bertrand, will we be able to see this on the chart?
Like what? The replay?
Yes, like a test or something.
We can open it.
Yeah, just so we can observe it, you know? At least the replay.
Open it and replay.
All right, thanks so much, teacher.
My goal today is really because the number of people starting to use it has increased. Right now, everyone has reached 19 or 20 people. Every day they message me on Telegram. Teacher, we've set this setting right now. Is it like this? I need to open it up, look at that market, and analyze it in order to run it. There's no such thing as making money every day with just one setting, because the market doesn't work like that either. That's also the reason it goes up and down. It has to move forward by taking everyone's money in some way. Otherwise, it would go bankrupt anyway. That's why you need to do a brief analysis of the market, a wavelength analysis, so that you can guide the Fibonacci at the start. For example, the criticism Mr. Mahir just mentioned was really good. I took it and set it up. If the price is moving in one direction, then open the panel. Just open the short direction. Just open the long direction. Or just open the auto bias. Because the way the bus works inside is very different. I'll explain that in a bit too.
I was going to ask about that, sir. Now, when I open a position on M1 or M5, I have to look at the trend on M15, M30, or the hourly trend so I can determine whether I should go long or short. When you open a position on the 15-second chart, it should actually show you where the trend is on the higher time frames. But since it can't clearly determine the trend on those lower time frames, so even in a bullish trend, it can go short. And usually that's where it ends up going against the trend anyway. There, I look back to see if the trend is up or down, and then I go long or short accordingly. But when we give this bias to the bot and run it on the lowest time frame, it seems like it can't detect the trend on higher time frames like M1 or M5. And that's where I end up losing.
Since the topic of auto bias came up, let me explain. This is how auto bias works. When you select bias, when you select the site, there are 3 options on the site. Long only, short only, auto bias. There's auto. Long only will only open long positions. It doesn't look at any time frame. It just says, I'm long on the time frame you're on. It only enters on pullbacks, playing for long. It's the exact opposite for short. If you select auto, here's how the auto mode works. It doesn't matter if it's 15 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 9 minutes, or 10 minutes. The only time frame it'll look at is 5:15. If the trend is up according to the 5-minute time frame, it puts green there and writes long. Below that, for 15 minutes, it looks at the 15-minute time frame. If the 15-minute is short, if it's red, and if the colors of the two aren't in the same direction, then it keeps opening trades as it sees fit. If both are long, if both are green, then it only enters long trades. If both are only short, both are red on the 5 and 15, then it only enters short trades. When the colors are different, 5 is up, 15 is down, then it keeps open in trades as it knows. Use it that way when you're using it. Pay attention to that. In 1 hour, 3 hour, 5 hour, and 4 hour time frames, it's not really possible for us to trade in the futures market anyway, because unlike in CFDs, we can't carry trades over. If you don't close your trade before 11:15 at night, your account gets wiped out. On prop accounts, if you really want to carry a one lot trade over to the next day on a real account, the professor knows the numbers better. But as far as I know, today you need to have $10,000 to $12,000 in your account just to carry over a single lot to the next day. That's why, since this real market isn't like CFDs, we can't trade on higher time frames anyway. A 5-minute trade is the maximum, but let's say you took a 15-minute trade. It's going to end in 5 hours. The market is closing and you're in a losing position. What are you going to do? You can't enter that trade. Either your account will blow up or you'll have to close with a loss.
Burkin Hoja, I wanted to ask, when you said if the bias is green on the 5-minute and red on the 15-minute, it will trade as it sees fit. What did you mean by that?
Normally, when you don't turn on auto bias and you use the bot, it automatically sets itself to long or short, right?
Yes.
It continues in the same way. At that point, there's no point in having the bias set to auto when the two colors aren't the same.
All right.
If both the 5-minute and 15-minute are pointing in the same direction, let's say it caught a nice trend and only went long, then some news came out. The 5, 15, and even 4 hours stayed green for 4 hours. For 4 hours, it would only enter long positions. For example, in between, the 3-hour mark, one of them turned and the 5-minute turned red. At that point, it wouldn't go long. If it enters the position, it would go short. Maybe if it lines up, it might go long again. But like I said, as long as both colors stay the same and don't change, all trades will go in that direction until those colors change.
All right, teacher. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If there are no questions about my topic, I'll wrap up. I'll hand it over to Ms. Virtue and Ms. Debate. Friends,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Do you draw the SIPO retracement from the bottom of the impulse?
Yes.
Do you draw it from the very lowest point?
In a rising impulse, it's drawn from the bottom to the top. In a descending impulse, meaning if there's a downward trend, let's draw it like this. If there's a downward trend, it's drawn from the top to the bottom, like this.
Actually, let me tell you a little trick to help you remember. It's like reading. It's always from left to right. You always draw it from left to right. There's no such thing as drawn from right to left or from top to bottom. It's always drawn from left to right, because price always moves from left to right. You draw it according to the direction of the price flow.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.
That all.
If there's nothing else, I won't take up any more of your time. I'll hand it over.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you for listening to me, everyone. Goodbye. That's the luck. Wishing you lots of profit. Thank you.
We don't need luck, my girl. Yes.
You're right. I apologize. You're right.
Hello, everyone. Now, first of all, I'm going to start from the very beginning. I'm not going to start with the world is a cloud of dust, but a lot of people ask me. I see that even though we provide such detailed instructions in the emails, people still have trouble because naturally it's a topic they're not very familiar with. At least to help overcome that difficulty a little, the professor is recording the session anyway. I want to start at the very least by explaining how to install the module. All of you are either requesting a rental or a demo on the website. Within 5 minutes, a process takes place and you receive an email. The email contains an activation code and a short text explaining the steps you need to follow. The first thing it mentions there is that you need to load your account. Since I'm in replay mode right now, you won't be able to see this part. If you enter your regular NextProbe account password here and click connect, your chart should open. Otherwise, the chart won't open. First, you need to make sure there's a green light next to NextProbe here, which means Atosis is now usable. After doing this, the first thing you need to do is go to the custom module section in the chart here. Atos places these here. You open it here. Here, you'll first see the installed modules, meaning the ones currently on your machine. On Atos, everything, bots, indicators, whatever, is referred to as a module. If there are modules created by others that aren't on your machine, when they're published to a task, they'll show up here under Available Modules. If you see it here and it says Install next to it, that means it's not on your computer yet. If it says Remove, that means you have it and you can delete it. Otherwise, you'll need to install it from here. You scroll down to this point. Here, you look for FiboBot. For this to show up on your ATAS, that is, for it to appear for the email register to your ATAS, you need to fill out the form and wait for the activation code to be sent to you. When you receive the activation code, it means this. Your email registered with ATAS has been reported to ATAS, and ATAS has approved it. Yeah, it means this person is registered with us. If you have automatically selected the FiboBot or any other product, you'll see it in this row, because your email is registered within that bot. If you can't see it here under your own name, either you registered with ATAS using a different email, or you should submit a request on the web using the email registered with ATAS. The system won't work that way. You won't be able to see it here. Let me remind you of something at this point. When you see it here, you just need to click Install. If you close it from here, it won't do anything. If you click Cancel, it won't work. You need to click Apply and install it. After you install it, on any chart you want to use, just right-click. Usually people go from here. They go through the indicator. We're used to it from other places. They try to search here. But since this is a strategy, it's not an indicator. You can load our indicators from here. Okay. But bots are loaded entirely from here, from chart strategy. It's already come here. There's a bit of confusion here. Let me mention that too. Yeah, click here. You see this here? I even wrote to a task about this so they could fix it. When you come here, you start filling something out or activating something from here. You click OK. Then you look and see there's nothing on the chart. What happened? Where's the bot? It's not there. And here's the reason for that. If, when you first open it, you select the bot from here, it's because this part catches your attention. You either need to click Add here or double click on it and see it listed under Selected Strategies over there. Only then will the actions you take here become permanent after you click OK. Otherwise, the actions you take won't work and you'll have to redo everything from the beginning. Now, I'll continue with the activation step. By the way, when you first activate it, the activation will only work on the machine where you first activate it until your activation period ends. Today, I did it on my home computer. If you decide to activate it on your laptop in the evening, your laptop won't be activated. If for some reason you installed it on the wrong computer, I was supposed to install it on my laptop, but I installed it on this one first. If you say you don't want that, you'll need to contact us. I'll need to reset your activation status so you can activate it again on another machine. That's just a little reminder. There's a field here where you can enter your activation code. Right here. If you try to do anything before or after entering it, you'll get a warning here telling you to enter the activation code. You can see all your actions here. Basically, whatever you do will show up here. We especially keep this in English, so your brain will be sure about it. It's very simple English. If you click on anything, it won't work. It won't work in any settings either, but it will be added to the chart. You'll see that it's just sitting there. You hit start. It'll say started, but it won't do anything. It won't take any action. First, we need to activate it. Let's do that together. I'm opening this part on purpose so you can see the license section here. After entering the code, you check it and it checks. On our back end, it checks the license on the Google Run servers to see if this person has actually filled out the form for us, whether it's a rental or a demo, and after going through certain steps, it'll display something here for you. It'll either say, no, sorry, or okay, you're good. For example, it says it's being used on another device for me. That's because I activated it somewhere else before. Let me move on with my own code now. I don't want to bore you too much here. Was it because I started it, I wonder? Let me check again to be sure. Yes, I believe that is absolutely correct. It was because I started it, because I had opened this before. When you do this, it will show you the date here. If it doesn't approve it, first it will ask you to run license show and display the license. You can check the license with your browser. You just click approve, enter the day, click OK, and move on. That's all there is to this step. The rest is actually an important part that I'll explain tonight. Right about now, let's get started. Let's close the unnecessary windows. We've made it this far. While I'm explaining, I'd like to ask for something. Let's turn on the microphones, please. Because I want to explain. You take notes. I'm not really the type of guy who works with a save all questions for the end mentality. If you want me to stop at any point while I'm explaining, just stop me. If you have a question about something, really ask it right then while you have the energy to ask. I'm happy to answer.
To be honest, I have so many different questions.
Then let's unmute everyone, teacher. I'm really uncomfortable.
The sound is muted.
Everyone.
Is it muted? Now.
We can unmute, teacher.
See red. Then it's up to their own preferences. Okay, let's go ahead.
At this very moment?
Friends, I'll start with the basics of contracts. First, with the accounts we use, when you get a 50,000 account, you have the right to open 5 mini or 50 micro positions. What does this mean? So why is 1 1, 1 5, and 1 50? It depends on the pair you use. Now the pair we use is NASDAQ. In other words, it's referred to as NQ. This is the real NASDAQ. And one lot really hurts. Let me put it this way. What you're looking at right now is a 15-second wave. So like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, there's a 1-minute move. This 1-minute move, as you can see at the very bottom, shows a profit of $550 for you. As you can see, if you enter a 1-minute move incorrectly, you have a $550 profit or loss situation. I'm talking about 15 seconds. Let's measure these very small waves from here to here. $650. Since not everyone has the budget to handle this, they created a micro version of every pair in the market. Those are indicated by the letter M at the beginning of each pair. Like N for MNQ is for MES and gold for GC. An initial M means micro, making it MGC. So what happened then? Let's look at the same chart. The numbers and the appearance of the chart don't change. I couldn't get through. But the amount of money you'll spend changes a lot. Let me show you like this. I'm going to the same place again. Let's go ahead and take this out right now. Earlier, the amount of money you would lose here in a minute and a half was $550. Again, it's the same NASDAQ, you're just in the micro version. Let's look here. $50. So it's 1/10 of that. That's why we trade in micro. In prop accounts, you can use up to 5 minis or up to 50 micros in different pairs or the same pair within the same area. Because we scalp, since we use 15-second intervals, that's why we use micro. Depending on your risk here, you can open 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 positions. This represents that. I know all of you are working on the 15-second chart. I'm saying this because I've seen it. I zoomed in. I came over here. If I hold down the middle button or scroll on the mouse, this comes up. If I keep holding the mouse scroll and go as far as I want, the number shown at the very bottom displays your profit or loss for one lot. That means $50. If you enter one lot or a mini lot or a micro lot, that's 50 lots. If you enter 10 micro lots, that's already equivalent to one mini lot, which comes to $500. Instead of a mini lot, I'll answer 5 micro lots. In that case, your profit or loss here would be $250. You can calculate and measure it accordingly.
Burjahan, I wanted to let you know that there's an important new rule regarding the way we handle contracts on NextProp. For all of our funded accounts, we are now strictly limited to trading just one single mini lot at a time. If you want, we can let everyone know about that. And for micro lots, is it 5 contracts that we can do?
2,500. Yeah, they just introduced that. They shot themselves in the foot. I think they'll remove it after a while. If they don't, they won't be able to sell high-priced products. As you can see, the discounts that came out at first were always 50,000, 50,000, 50,000. They used to get discounts on all of them at once. They can't sell the 50,000 because everyone is buying the 25,000. Because there's no point in buying a high lot. Why should I buy 50, 100, 50, 100, or 200 lots? I'm already paying $500, and no matter which one I buy, they don't let me open more than one lot until I make $2,500 profit. There was no such rule until about a month ago. When they switched to 2-0, they made up this rule, saying we'll give you 100% of the profit instead of taking 10% for ourselves, but then they added this ridiculous rule. Nobody's happy about it. Friends who are in Fandit are already talking about it online. I'll support them and speak up as law, but that's currently a rule related to NextProp. It doesn't really concern us much. We're with Fibo right now. So I won't go into it too much. Just know the lot sizes so you understand why you're entering 1, 2, 3, or 5 here when using Fibo. There's also something like this. Now, I've come to the bot. I opened it from here. This is the ready to use bot that I activated. There's the same error here again. I clicked here. If you try to adjust the settings here, it won't work. When you open it, you need to click here again. You need to see this part. After that, you need to make your adjustments. There are some minor glitches at. I think they'll be fixed over time. Now, this is the contract section. Does anyone have any questions up to this point? It means micro mini, basically. If every pair starts with an M, that includes BTC as well. If it starts with MBTC, it's micro. VTC is even crazier, so I won't even open the chart. In the spot you see here, you could lose about $6,000 because the spread, the ticks there, are much bigger. Any questions up to this point? I'll go into detail in this stream. I'll go through everything one by one. No? Okay. The section we call site is where you specify which direction you want the bot to operate. In simple terms, long is a direction where you buy low and sell high to make a profit. Shorts is a direction where you sell high and buy back lower to make a profit. A lot of people don't know this. They get it mixed up. I always give the same direction, the same example. Going long is basically like buying dollars at a currency exchange office and selling them when the price goes up. It's the same logic. But shorting isn't like that. It doesn't make sense to people. Like, man, I sold dollars at a high price. Let me buy them back when they're cheap. You can think of it as converting the dollars you bought in reverse. That's a market structure that works with that logic. Let me explain auto again, as I mentioned before. If you turn on auto, the direction won't show here in 15 seconds. It'll work for time frames above 1 minute. Now it will show. As I said, for the 5-minute and 15-minute time frames, in other words, the higher time frame of your current time frame, if you're on the 5-minute, it only takes the 5 and 15 into account. If you're not on the 15, it only takes the 15 into account. But for any time frame below 5, when both are exactly equal, it only opens a trade in that direction based on the color of the two. I think we just asked Mr. Vacus, when the directions of the two are different, it still opens a trade wherever it finds an opportunity in the direction it knows. When we were designing the profile section of the bot, we did it like this. We also have other bots. Here, our students know, for example, let me open this one. Now, take a look at this one. I closed the license section. Entry trading session, money management, scale out, event. Keep looking at it constantly. There are a lot of settings. This is something prepared at a professional level only for people who have taken mentoring training from us, from Suat Hocha, and who really know what's what. It's not possible for an ordinary person to use this, because if you change one setting here, it changes in combination with the other side. Changing the combination. I tried this side as 3 and this side as 1. Let me set this side to 2 and this side to 1. There need to be millions of combinations for you to use this robot correctly. That's why when we were planning to make it so end users, so everyone could use it, as you can see, we made a very simple panel. Here, the profile is actually a very important part. There's conservative, balanced, aggressive, and finally a master profile that was added at the end. What do these represent? These are 4 profiles that determine when to execute a trade after confirming the wave selected by Fibo. Each of them has its own filters. Conservative, as you can guess from the name, is very selective. Balanced is more moderate. Aggressive is more forceful. Monster has a structure that operates without any rules at all. Let me explain it like this. Now, all profiles go through 2 filters called ready kicks, lower low, higher high, and late scene. In the conservative profile, having this enabled means the following. If Fibo identifies a wave, let's explain it like this. Fibo, it drew the green line here. Consider this as green. It doesn't bother with each one individually. Then, before the price even sees this green, it drew this area. Okay, now when you see this mark, know that it's close to placing an order. In conservative mode, there need to be 2 candle closes without wicks. So it considered this area as the swing. Okay, so 2 on the left, 2 on the right. I'll get to that in a bit. I accepted this as the top and this as well. All right, I did, but when am I supposed to place a trade? I mean, you determined the 38.2, but when will I know for sure that it's valid and enter at 38.2 here? This is determined by the internal filters of the conservative, balanced, and aggressive monster. The conservative one looks at this. After identifying this as the swing, the 2 on the left rule is okay. The 2 on the right rule is also okay. One of the 2 rules is that the wick of this high needs to be above this, and this candle needs to close, like this. If it doesn't close like this, no matter how much it measures the wave, it won't place an entry here. If you're using it in conservative mode, if you're using it in balance mode, this time it doesn't look at the wick, it looks at the close. There need to be 2 consecutive candle bodies closing above each other. So what does this mean? Here, the candle body closed, it opened, went down, and there's a candle body closing below. Even if the wave is confirmed, it won't place a trade order here. This is much safer and more balanced. A candle closed here, and then a second candle closed here. Okay, now it's turning around. It's determined. So now I can place the order here. That's when it goes short. In aggressive mode, this is disabled. Oh, by the way, let me mention the second filter. It's a filter called late sin. Here's what it does. It measured the wave from here. The system carefully positioned the item right here. Again, let's say, let this be the spot. Let's imagine these candles haven't formed yet. It turned. 1 candle, very close. On the second candle, it closed above the body of this one. Okay, the rule is met, so I can place it here. Or you could place it like this. If you measured here and said, let it enter at 38.2, what happened? It measured the high here, the low here, and there are 2 closed bodies. Everything's okay. But since you chose 38.2, it won't place it because late sin means that price has already been seen. If that price has already been seen, it won't include you in the trade from here again. If your setting inside was 50, then at the end of this reversal, after seeing 2 close candles, it would place the order here in balance mode. It would place it in both conservative and balance modes. In aggressive mode, this reversal is disabled. So what I mean is, it comes here, sees the first reversal candle, and closes. You want to enter at 38.2? It places the order here while the prices are at this level and includes you from here. If you haven't enabled SL100, it places it here. You take your TP from here and exit. That's why aggressive mode actually works very well for this. There are no rules at all in monster mode. In monster mode, it doesn't matter if the price has touched this level, or if 2 candles have closed, or if 2 verses have overlapped. None of that matters. The only time frames I recommend for monster are 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or at most 1 minute. Anything above that is risky. This is a filter added entirely so that we can trade and scalp even on 15-second time frames. There are already more details about this in the user manual. I won't overwhelm you, so I'll move on, but this is an important point. If you have any questions about this part, let me know. Risk. Now, normally, most bots have stop loss and take profit. We deliberately didn't include that in this one. Why don't we include it? Were we crazy to skip it? Can a bot lack stop loss and take profit? Yes. This bot uses Fibonacci and wave structures, so we left them out. Let's say it considers this point as the high, and it considers this point as the low, and you said, let it enter at 38.2. Don't use SL100. Let me also say, I want my stop at the next level up. Normally, SL100, which I'll explain in a bit, if you don't activate it, the bot will automatically set your stop at 4 ticks above the level you set for shorts or 4 ticks below for longs. So if you enter here, it puts the stop 4 ticks above this level. If you enter here, 4 ticks above this one. If SL100 is on, it doesn't matter where you enter, it always puts the stop 4 ticks above the level. SL100 determines that. So why didn't I set the SLI stop? We didn't set it for this reason. Let's say you're entering from here. This is the size of the wave. Let's measure this wave together. Again, I pressed the middle of the mouse and dragged. The second number, 159 ticks, shows the length of this wave. It confirmed at 159 ticks and reversed. It will also pick me up from 50. Okay, nice. I also didn't open a trade or SLI here. Let me stop you at 68. I'll sell at 50. I'm saying if it goes here, let it hit the stop. How much is my loss here? It's 18, so $9. The second row and the last row. Let's say this wave, my friend, extended to here. He decided to open at the Fibonacci year. Again, I'll enter at 50. Again, I'll set my stop at 68. What happened? It became $20. It doubled. Since the wave got bigger, the gaps between the Fibonacci levels widen. When the gaps widen, your loss automatically increases. Let's say you entered here, set your SL100 and put it here. What happened? You entered with 1 micro and 5 micro, and you lost $500. That's why there are different safeguards inside, and I'll explain those now. That's also why we didn't set the TP and SL here. If you plan to trade from here and you're going to enter from here and you set your stop here, if SL100 was open, you look at this. My stop is at 28 ticks. If you set 2R in your panel, it will automatically set your TP here at 56 ticks, which is double. So you enter the trade from here, your stop distance is set, and it places your TP at twice the distance below where you entered. You take your profit and exit. If trailing isn't working, or if it's something more, I'll get to that as well. If you set SL100 and entered at 50, then your stop distance would be here. If you chose 2R for a 125, then it goes up to 250 and sets your TP there. The reason we don't use the TP/L from the panel is because when the distance between Fibonacci levels varies according to the wave, you wouldn't be able to balance your profit-loss risk ratio. This is what determines it. You can set it however you want. Give it any value you like. Timeout bars limit. Timeout bars show this. The confirmed wave has come, and you said enter this trade at 38.2. Okay? What did P do? It measured and analyzed the wave. It placed your pending order here at 38.2. Limit sell. The price came in. It didn't take you in. At first, it's going down. Did it come again? It didn't. After it didn't come, how many candles have passed? 3. So 158 bars have passed, meaning 158 15-second candles have gone by. Actually, even more. If you don't assign a value to the order you placed here, if you leave it at 0, this means that after the order is placed here, if the price never comes back here again, your order will just stay here. And while Fibo is waiting for one order, it won't open a second order. The market doesn't allow this anyway. Since it won't open, you'll lose hours here. If you place an order at 1 a.m. and it's still there at 5 in the morning, you'll miss all the opportunities here because the order's still pending. That's why you absolutely need to enter a number here. Enter 20. If it doesn't get filled after 20 bars, the order will be automatically removed so you can have trading opportunities for the next waves. If you set this to 0, the order will stay fixed there forever until the price comes back to that level. I think you've understood this part as well. It wasn't a difficult part. There's also something like this. Every explanation is already available here in the user manual linked. And if you want easy use, it's easy. To find things quickly, when you hover over it, everything is written here in 3 languages. What does this do here? If the pending entry order isn't filled within bars, it gets canceled. It's that simple. Session 1. Session 2 is a safety feature we added so you don't lose your account. And I won't touch anything. Honestly, I don't think you'll ever need to touch the sets we've created for you in the future. This is what it's for. You come here. What time does the night market open according to the current time? It opens at 1:30. Sorry. Open yourself up at 1:30, my friend. The American session is highly volatile. Don't go there. Close it at 5 p.m. After you close at 5 p.m., once that volatility passes, after the US Open, open yourself up again around 6:30 p.m. and the market closes at 11:15 p.m. Don't let your account blow up. Set this to 10:30 p.m., run it, and that's it. If you stick to these times, the account will work properly. Let's say you forgot a trade or something happened. Here's how it works. It starts here, and it's supposed to close the trade at 5 p.m. If it's 10 minutes to 5 and you still have an open position, it doesn't matter if it's in profit or loss, it will close it. The moment it hits 5 p.m., it closes that trade regardless of profit or loss. The same thing applies for 10:30 p.m. as well. It doesn't care if the open trade is in profit. We had set it up so it wouldn't touch open trades, but in the end, we decided we didn't want that and changed it. Right now, it closes the trade directly with a hard close. That's what this explains in these 2 places. This right here is the most valuable part that will protect your capital, your money.
Teacher, can I ask a question? It's about the session.
Of course, anytime you want. Sure.
When we set these sessions, do we need to turn on the computer and start it right away? Or will it work like this even if the computer's off?
It's a room I set up according to your local time and your computer's local time. When using it in other countries so that it doesn't default to GMT+3, it works with each person's local computer time, since people in every country have different times. If your computer isn't on a VPS, a virtual server, or in a data center, but is just your home computer, then when you turn it off or close your laptop lid, none of this will work.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, what is so protected enable? What are delimiters, max rate, and losses? These are actually the most important things that change the entire flow of trading. The first 2 here will curb your appetite. Let me put it this way. I can actually see for all the bots which account is making which trades every day, how much money is being made, how much is being lost, and I can even get a sense of your psychology from afar. This is something we ask your permission for in the contract so that we can further improve the bot according to your psychology. Because I see, for example, someone made $800 or $900 in a day, but the bot is still running. At noon, an hour later, 2 hours later, I check and now it's minus $400. The market doesn't always make you money. There's no such world. That's why we created this as a break. The number you enter in the daily profit limit is in dollars. If you set it to 500 here, after the commission is deducted and you reach that amount as profit, it won't open any more trades. Whether it reaches that in an hour or by 11 p.m. after making a $500 profit, it won't open any more trades after that time. The value you enter here, let's say 500, it doesn't matter, you decide. When it reaches the loss specified here, it also won't open any more trades. It stops. Even if the bot is running or the market is moving, the bot locks itself and won't open any more trades. These 2 show that. Max trade loss, retracement extension, max trade loss, red grid, or as we also call it, MG, martingale, or by other names. Let me explain those to you like this. I'll go over martingale as well, but first, let me start with retracement. Let's delete this. Let's delete this one too. Before we get to this part, let me first explain what these two are. If you manually select retracement mode, this robot will trade in three ways. One of them is retracement, which, as Metapojam explained, bets on the correction after the impulse entering during the correction. That correction level was also pointed out to me by Metapojam. We can't know at which level it will stop. Okay, you pick something here manually, it's up to your luck. Every day, until you turn off the bot or change it, it'll only enter trades at all the 50 levels. At the 50 levels. Or if you pick something else, it will always enter from there. As long as you don't change it during the day, all the trades, all those wave entries will be from that point. If you select auto, again, I'm talking about retracement. When you select auto, it looks at this, friends. It doesn't know from which level it will enter. The system indicates to me, okay, I am identifying this specific point right here as the market high, and then I am also recognizing this other point down here as the definitive low. It marks green here and red there, then waits. First, it waits for whichever one is triggered in the conservative balance master filter I just explained. After that, it waits for this. If you're on auto, the total overall price tag that you see itself. Whichever level gets rejected twice, for example, there's one rejection here, 2. There's a direct third rejection. From the opening of the third candle, it opens a market order in the opposite direction. Whichever level this situation I just described happens at, that's where it decides to open the trade. Let's say the price comes here. Let me explain it like this. It turns, comes back here, and touches. Just touching is enough for me. The second candle comes and touches as well. That's also enough for me. Or it couldn't touch. It's not important. Whether it touches or not doesn't matter. What matters is that it's this close. The tolerance is 4 ticks. It came up to here. The first candle couldn't break above. If the second candle touches or does not touch, but still cannot break above, then as soon as the third candle opens, you go straight for a short. Set your stop here. If you did not open SL100, you set it at this level. If you did, you set it here. Let me explain the reason for cancellation here. The first candle comes and touches. Okay, no problem. The second candle comes, and if it closes even 1 tick above this level, it is canceled. You do not take a trade from here. Even a single tick close above this level, even a single tick should not happen. After getting 2 rejections, on the third, you go straight for a short. Or the exact opposite. If there are 2 candles that cannot close below, you go straight for a long from here. It is completely automatic, working with that logic. As I said, in retracement, you can choose a manual option or you can leave it on auto. There is also an algo. Try it out, let us develop it together. I have not fully developed it yet, just so you know. The algo looks at this. Sorry, I'll open it now. I'll bring something up from the side screen for you. Now, the structure of how the algo works is that it looks at a large database in the background. What does it look at? It operates based on the control of 2 sheets. And that's this. What day is it today? What's the pair? What time is it? What happened at this time last year with this pair? Which levels have worked the most? Which levels have reacted to the price? This algo measures that. It goes back to last year. Let's say today is June 19th. What happened before noon on June 19th last year in 2025? Which price movements triggered a reaction? Which Fibonacci waves, which levels are used more often? It brings the result of an analysis here. It calculates all of this internally. After calculating, it creates an optimization table and then brings it to another table. Whichever levels were used the most, it automatically selects the most frequent level compared to this time last year. It includes you in the trade from here. That's the entire logic behind how the algo works. Now, there are 3 modes in retracement. So I was going to explain it here, and now I've arrived at this point. The max trade loss here, that's this. Now, I can explain it here. If the value you enter here is $300, and you select any of these 3 values here, it works. Then it takes the $300 here into account. I'll go through it manually. I think you'll understand the rest. Manually, you said, brother, open from 50. And open S50 and 100 as well. So instead of placing the fib level 100 stop at the next level, set it farther back at the point where the wave started. All right. Now let's see, with a $300 per trade risk limit, in other words, you enter a trade knowing exactly how much money you could lose. And I decided to enter this trade with 2 contracts. I'm going to execute it. I'll execute 2 contracts from 50. Let's see. It measured this wave. Sorry. I'm entering at 50. I said SL 100. I came here. How much? $121. I'm entering with 2 lots. $240. Okay. If the price turns here and comes back, it'll take you in at 50. Because why could I lose 300? I've accepted the risk of losing 300. If I get stopped out here, I won't lose 300. Since it'll only be 250, I say I'll open this trade. But you went to 38. Let's say you also set your loss limit per trade at 300. Then you look at this. You measure it. 150. You're entering with 2 contracts. 300. You don't enter. You don't enter this trade. You don't enter because you know you'll lose 300. Or sometimes it goes like this. Let me mention that in some cases too. That was also a nice feature we added later on. Let's say you decided to enter from here. It measured the weight like this. It said, sorry, from here. It said, brother, let's see, 300 doesn't enter here anyway. It'll enter from here. We checked 120. 2 contracts, that's 240. It says, okay, I'll enter this one. It places the order here for you. After placing the order, the price continues. Before it picks you up, imagine this wave extends. It extended to here. We're going to enter at 38. The stop is here. What happened? 200 times 2 lots makes 400. You had placed a 2-lot order here, so then it does this. Out of the 2 orders that place automatically, it cancels one of the 2 lots, one of the 2 contracts. It cancels it while the wave keeps extending because it has exceeded your 300 limit. There is still an ordering coin. Instead of removing the order, it watches a bit longer to see what will happen. Since you allowed it to open with a 300 limit, it checks and reduces it to 350 for 1 contract. What happens when it reduces to 1 contract? Then you have a $170 loss limit. It places it again. The wave extended even further. It comes here, you have 1 contract left. I came here, 3 point. Then it removes this order from here, so you won't be exposed to more risk. The max trade loss per transaction there lets you set that on the retracement side. So it's like this. When you select these 3 and enter here in retrace mode, no matter if the wave extends or not, it will follow you while maintaining that value. It won't put you into a more losing trade than that. It won't open one. There are 2 control mechanisms here. You can control the size of your loss with one of them, and the other is wave max tickle. We had set these to be disabled in the demo. They're only enabled in the release versions, and that determines this. If the minimum, this is the place that triggers the phi length movement. You need to set a minimum, a base wavelength for it. So 100. Now let's get to that. Why is it 77 in the set I provided, the one I mostly use? And why do I start from 23.6? The main reason is this. Before the American session opens, the Asian session is usually a sideways session and moves in a single direction with short corrections. Let's measure it together when you look here. If only I knew how to separate this part. Look, it bounced back up from 23. Even if I put my stop here, I'm going to enter the trade from here. The loss I would take here is $17 per contract. What happened? I made a ton of money. Below 23. Why? Because it's moving in only one direction. When it moves in one direction, the price makes a quick move, grabs it and bounces back, grabs it and bounces back. At 38 and 50, there are already other robots waiting. They won't let you have those levels. And even if they do, they won't let you have them in this session. Those levels are played within the American session before the American session starts. But not at this time, especially not in Asia. I mean, not in London either. Unless there's some very special news in London, the maximum reversal happens at 38.2350. Even if you set your stop at 100, you'll get out of it one way or another. Let's look at the wave patterns. It's the same again. Let's measure one more wave. This is also an impulse. Why can't I draw it properly today, I wonder? Once again, it is 23 to 6. Let us go ahead and measure one more time. Again, it's 23.6. You missed 38.50. You entered at 50 and got stopped out. You entered at 38 and got stopped out. It blew up, so get out because you're trading on the 15-second chart. If you're trading on the 15-second chart, waiting for 50s or 61.8s and so on is a bit tough. I can accept 30 seconds or a minute, but on the 15-second, 23.6 and 38.2 work really well. Sorry, let's measure the wavelengths. So we drew the impulse here, but why is this? How many ticks is this one? 237 ticks. For the opening, for the Asian opening. Okay. Now I came here. Since it broke this low here, this also became an impulse. 160 ticks. I came here. 90 ticks. I came here. 70 ticks. I came here. 70 ticks. I came here. 80 ticks. I came here. 70 ticks. As you can see, even here, it gives 60 ticks just from the correction. 23.6, I don't even need to measure this place. It reacts from 23.6 and drops. Here, it's the same. It gets a reaction and drops. This is 23.6, this is 23.6, this is 50, this is 38.50. So the reason for entering at 23.6, don't miss the trade, it causes less loss to wait above for the trade. Yes, because you set SL 100. Most of you say, if I open an entry close to the stop, then my loss point is here, you missed the trade. So what did I get from the price? That's why 23.6, and that's also why I use 0.25, not 1 or 2 lots. I can open trades 18 to 22 times in a row. They hit take profit. I saw that so many of them hit take profit in a L. So let's set a re for this. Let's add a filter. We said, let's bring in a money management system, and that's how we introduce money management. Now, money management is something that really changes the game. It changes everything. I'm not jumping from topic to topic. I'm trying to keep things connected. I'll come back to martingale later. Let me explain it like this. Money management was actually a story I read years ago in a book, based on a system invented by a guy who gambled in Las Vegas. That's where the idea came from, and we decided to incorporate it here. The idea is this. If I enter a trade with one contract, and let me illustrate this. Now, I entered the trade with one contract. This trade hit take profit. Second, how many contracts do I enter the second trade with? One. This one also hit take profit. Trade one, always one, always one, always one, always one. I said this isn't how it works. Because with Fibo, when you finish 0 to 25, and if you also enter from the right level, there are 18 to 22 consecutive take profits in a row. This is useful for the following, guys. This area completely changes our money management. If you enter a trade with one contract, your first trade, one contract, and if the result is take profit, if you have enabled this, it kicks in. If not, it does not. If it is set to 2, after the first win, it becomes 2. You enter the trade by increasing by 2 lots, so you enter with 3. If this trade also hits take profit, then you increase by 2 more lots. On the third trade, you enter with 5 contracts. So what happened? Instead of entering with 1, 1, 1, you enter the trade with 8 contracts and make more money. In this flow, if you call this the first trade, then after the first one, you enter the second trade with 2. If it hits take profit, you enter the third trade with 3. How far is this going to go? Eventually, there will be a stop loss somewhere. It can't go on forever. The only thing that really matters here is where you'll set your stop loss. It works when you click Enable. When you select Adapter Win 2, it opens the next trade by adding each of your take profits to the value here. If it's 1, then 3, then 3, then 5, then 5, then 7. If cycle target is 5, what you see here right now means this. The first trade is 1 lot. Take profit at the end of the trade. The second trade is 3 lots. Take profit at the end of the trade. The third trade is 5 lots. At the end of the trade, take profit. The fourth trade is 7 lots. Take profit at 5. It adds 2 more lots to the trade, 9 lots. Take profit at 4, 5, 6. It enters the trade with 1 lot because you set it to 5. After 5 consecutive take profits, it means let me pocket my profit now, reduce my risk, and open with 1. If you set this to 2 instead of 5, then here it would be 2. After the take profit, after 3 contracts, it goes back to 1. This is especially useful when you start hitting consecutive take profits. Suddenly, in 5 trades in a row, you can see your account grow by $1,000. That's what this means. It completely changes that. So what is this part here? This is what it means. If you set the risk here to 1, then it'll be 1 each. I just explained this. You also need to set this to 1 here. This part refers to the first trade opened. You can tell from here whether the trade has hit take profit or not. Whether your profit has come in or not, whether you've hit take profit or not, this system doesn't understand that from here, it doesn't look at that. You need to enter the minimum result here. That's what it checks. If you put 1 here, but your trade closes at, say, 0.9 because of a wick or something else, if you set this to 1, it says this trade didn't hit take profit. So I shouldn't increase the second lot or open a second trade with another lot. That's why, to avoid confusing you, I won't go into the active use of this. The simplest way is this. If the value you enter here is 0.30, in the event that the value you actually enter here is 0.30, then if you want to enable this, if you want to use money management, do it like this. Add 1 here, and after 3 trades, take the money and put it in your pocket. So 1, 3, 5. Go up to 4, then 3. After the third round, go back to 1. If this is 0.3, then this value here always has to be a little less than the R value here. If this is 0.3, then this will be 0.2, friends. Even if the value you enter here is 0.1, it doesn't really matter. The value you enter here doesn't affect your monetary loss. It's just a number for the system to understand whether your trade has hit take profit or not. If this is 1, then write 0.9 here. Write 0.95. Don't write 1 because if you write 1, here's what happens. The trade doesn't close at 1, the commission gets deducted, something else happens, whatever. It closes at 0.9. Since it doesn't count that, it opens another contract for the next trade. So whatever this value is, always keep it just a notch below. This is money management for all trade management. Whether it's opening a retracement, something else, another wave, or changing the balance, it doesn't matter. As long as this is open, it will keep increasing the lot size according to the logic I mentioned. Any questions up to this point?
While increasing the lot size, since it's always monitoring our maximum loss, if our maximum loss is exceeded, it won't open a new trade. No, it won't.
It won't open a trade. For example, let's say you accidentally entered 5 here, and according to the wave it's measuring, it should open 6 in the next trade, but you wrote 300 here, it won't open. Then you might ask, why isn't it opening? Well, this is the reason. This is one of the protections. That's also why you increase the amount.
The second point is,
the second protection, even if the wave extends at the point where we said $300, the $300 risk does not increase in the way I just explained. The second protection is here. This is the max tick, and it indicates the following. Now, what is min tick? What is max tick? And let me explain all of them together. This will make more sense when I talk about the swing bar count. What is wave update mode? What is wave update count? This part's very simple. Let me explain. There's a freeze and a follow extension here. Here, it's the classic major. I'm going to need to explain this part. Simply put, I'll explain at the end. Crucially, you must grasp this. Not understanding is an issue, because this is the main part that changes the entire flow of the trade. First, this. Second, this. Third, this. This one isn't that important. You'll understand in a bit. Now, for Fibo to be able to draw the green and red lines you see, you need to give it a starting value. So the robot says to itself, okay, I'll measure and calculate, but what's my starting criterion? That's the minimum wavelength you'll give it. The minimum wavelength is this. You say, let's get closer. This is a wave. This is a wave. How many ticks is this? 58 ticks. If I wrote 77 ticks in the settings, it won't measure this wave. Let's look at this wave. Where's the first swing reversal? Here. Where does it start? It starts here. Let's measure up to here. How much? 87 ticks. Okay, this one will be measured. That's what minimum means. But that doesn't mean this. Okay, even at 77, this wave stopped at 77, at 87. It'll turn from here and place a trade there. No way, man. That's not how it works. It extended. 86 hards. It still couldn't reverse. According to the balanced conservative mode you chose, there's still no reversal. 165, 170, 200. Look, there's a reversal right here. What happened? I gave 77. It entered at 217. So what did I get out of this? I entered from here to here. My loss will be from 38. Man, I had planned my trade for the 77 wave. What happened to the 77 wave? Right here. The wave ended here. Come here. If I enter at 50, what's my stop loss? 20. The wave went here. I'll enter from here again. So what happened to my loss? 60. So what did I get out of this? The only place that protects you, as Mr. Tayyar just said, is right here. 300 protects. The second protection is here. That's the maximum take. You'd say, brother, stay between 77 and 150. Then it measures 77. Okay, I found the minimum. It calculates how far it can go. It comes here. 200. This place is canceled. It came here. It saw the first reversal here. How much is this spot? 150. Okay, I found my limit. Right here. I've arrived. Just like that. 143. It measured the wave. It also saw the reversal. It entered. It places the order right here. You said this is 23.6. It places the order here. Okay, very nice. I just couldn't get it. It placed the order here. The Bryce King. It couldn't get it, but it follows every rule. 77. 150. Okay, so there's also 300. Everything's protecting me. But what happens if the price keeps going up without picking you up? Then this 150 max stick value kicks in. Brother, we stopped at 120. We were about to turn and buy, but as soon as it hits 140, 150, 151 ticks and a candle closes, it removes this order from here. It doesn't care if you wrote 300 or 500 here. The most important thing is the max tick value. You might have written it wrong here for the max tick, because with this wavelength, you might not be able to calculate it at that moment. That's why, depending on the wavelength, the maximum tick always protects you before any trade is opened. It protects you after this is ulted. But max tick sets it while you're still planning the trade. It places the order, and if the wave gets longer and sees that it has passed 150, it removes it from there. Max tick also provides that protection. Let's see. Yes, now let's move on to this part. Follow extension, wave update count. That's this, guys. Now, Sorry about that. I couldn't hold this here. It's best if I hold it here. This right here is exactly what I mean. Wave was discussed. It arrived. Balance, right? This part also settled itself. What did I say? I said enter 2 at 38 as well. It placed them here too. The price made a really nice reversal from here. I said, oh God, it's coming to get me. It comes. It comes. It comes. It's like a magic magnet or something. It won't take you. It turns back down. It breaks the last bottom. It keeps falling. So what happens? You measure this wave. This is the 38.2 level of this wave. What happens if this wave breaks this last bottom and extends further? Then this Fibonacci will also extend. So the 38.2 level will move further down too, right? The level moved down. I'm waiting here at a stupid level. If follow extension is selected, as this wave continues and with every tick that closes, every candle that closes, it will automatically start moving your order here down to the new 38.2 level of the newly formed Fibonacci. It removes the order from here and places it there. It removes it from here and places it there. It removes it from here and places it there. This will go on forever if you leave this at 0. That's what wave update cal is. So if you say here, 3 times the bottom was broken, 2, move my order 3 times. Okay, 4. If it breaks again, don't move me. Leave me here, because my loss is getting bigger now. It won't move it anymore. If you leave this at 0, it will keep moving as long as you keep giving it a number. We simply could not become fully accustomed to this specific part. If you leave this on freeze, then on the first wave it measures, you'll enter at 38, and no matter how long the wave extends, it'll die and stay here. How long does it stay? Who enters this duration? For example, up above it said after 20 bars, right? After that, it closes. That's it. If you leave this at 0, your order will stay here forever. Evening comes. The price doesn't reach the F, and you end the day without any trades. The value you enter here is a multiple of the time frame you are in. If it's 15 seconds here and this is set to 20, then after 20 bars of 15 seconds each, it will remove it after the close. If it's 200, then it's 200 bars. If this is 0, it's infinite. This part determines that. If you select freeze, it stays. If you select follow-up extension, it continues. Let me tell you how I use it. On the 15-second chart, since the price never moves in one direction and always reverses, I always use follow-up extension 0 here. And you might ask, what do you do with the limit bar, teacher? I also use the limit bar 0. Since I take my reversal from 23.6, it always picks me up somewhere. If not here, then it'll pick me up there. So let's see. I entered at the 23.6 of this wave. Look, it picked me up right here. What did I lose here? I checked, there are 300. How many hours did I lose? From 1.5 to 2.5. I just stayed out of trades for 1 hour, that's all. So what? What would have happened if I had entered here? It's over, it's done. It hasn't come back again. Get well soon. So if you're using a short reversal like 23.6 on a 15-second chart, then yes, you might not need to do it. And you're keeping track, you're on top of it. When you look at it, if the price is already crashing and going down, then just close it manually and let it open another trade on its own anyway. There's also that. I'll mention it too. I'm slowly coming to the end. This part's done, this part's done. I'll explain this part. Is there any part here in this section that you didn't understand?
Do you recommend setting the limit time bar to 0, sir?
If you're at your computer, yes.
Okay.
Because what happens? I write 20 here, I write 30, I write something. Then I keep watching. The exact price comes. I say, oh God, I'm about to take a trade. But I didn't count 30 bars there. I just wrote 30. It just removes the trade from there, just like that. Damn, you removed it right on time, you say to yourself. If I'm at the computer, I use 0, yes. But if I'm going to leave, I definitely set a value.
I understand.
Because I've seen so many times that the order gets canceled right when it's supposed to take you in. I don't know if it's some kind of Murphy's Law, but that order just gets canceled from there. Is there anything else at all you need? This swing bar is like this. It's a setting that allows the robot to understand where the top and bottom are. Let me explain it like this. For the robot, or rather the bot, to be able to process the wave here, it first needs to know the top and then the bottom of this wave. Now, as Mr. Mahir also mentioned, is this the top here, or is this the top? Where's the top of this? Is it here? How can the bot know this? The bot determines this using what everyone in the market always calls liquidity grabs, or what many people refer to as liquidity sweeps. There are a million different trap names for it, but the most common, internationally recognized name that's been used for 500 years is swing, meaning the turning point. To identify a specific swing in the market, we call it a fractal. In other words, there's always going to be a fractal located at the very tip of the movement. There is a specific rule for this. It is determined by the exact number of closed candles to both the left and the right sides. For example, let's take a look. If you manually set the swing bar count to 3 within the settings panel, the bot won't pick this particular spot as the top. This is because for this point to be officially considered a swing, there need to be at least 2 closed bars with values less than 10 on each side to confirm the pattern. Here, there are 2, so it fits the rule. This one worked. This one's fine. What about this? It didn't fit. It says, this isn't a high for me. It skips this whole wave and you end up with no trades. What's the point of setting this high? Here's the point. You catch an accumulation point, meaning it's clustering at the bottom, so someone is accumulating here, and you're telling the robot that they're going to lift it from here. If you set this to 5, then it finds a swing here. Look, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. First task done. It says this is fine and puts it in its pocket. On the right side, it waits for 5 more swings bigger than itself to close. 1, 2, didn't happen. Skip this. It doesn't accept it. If there were 5 consecutive bigger swings closing here as well, then we'd say, okay, there are 5 here and 5 here, so I accept this as the bottom, my friend, and then it would enter a great trade. Why? Because in such a bottom formation, a new impulse almost always comes. Well, not always, but in such a rule, 90% of the time, a new impulse comes. So it takes this as the starting point, enters this wave, and starts measuring all the way until it catches the reversal. Or I don't recommend keeping it too long in this wave because on the 15-second chart, it can be misleading. On the 1 minute or 3 minute, yes, you can use 2 or 3. I use 0 for this. Why do I use 0? Because after I see this wick, I expect a reversal from here. I'm not expecting anything from the side or in the middle. I'd tell it to dive in from here. On Monster, I'd enter this trade without any rules at all. I'm already going to take 0.23. I'm already entering the trade here and taking profit right there. I've already taken my money and gotten out by this point. This wave doesn't concern me. That's the reason for the setting.
Teacher, I came across something once. I've restored my health.
Or you can do it like this if you want. Just split it already. I said it at the beginning. Yes.
Yes. So sometimes when I am trying to take a precise measurement, it unfortunately puts the thing right on top of those mitigated candles. Is it maybe calculating the mitigations? Is it processing the paywall gaps there in the meantime? Since I don't know the math running in the background, I was actually checking if it sticks the high and low to the places it sees as mitigated. By coincidence, I came across a few of them. There isn't any math like that here, right?
No, there isn't. I mean, this is what does that. The mitigation bot. Like you said, this only goes to the mitigations, and its indicator is this. Let's move on. Let's go up to a higher time frame, so 1 minute. This is what you were talking about. I'm on the 1 minute chart. It automatically draws and shows all the mitigations for 1, 5B, 15H, 1H, and 4. It's very useful as an indicator. If you know about mitigation and price, you'll already understand what I mean. Its robot works like a legend too. I mean, the bot also works amazingly. It puts things in order of priority. If the one on the higher time frame is closer to the price, it automatically scalps and enters from there. So how does it set the stop here? There's no stop on this one either. On this bot too. It also sets the stop at the bottom of the mitigation candle. It takes the trade for you from here, because after it's mitigated, it's expected that the price will reverse. So there's no need to set a stop any lower or anything like that. If it already passes this point, just take a 3 to 5 point stop, because the price isn't going to turn around from there anyway. That's basically what I mean. If you want, I can do a separate stream just for that, about using the mitigation bot and indicator. Let me not get off topic, Mal, but I understood what you meant. That's a good observation. But it has nothing to do with Fibo.
All right. I'm here now. That's what I'm saying.
Now, let's move right along to the grand finale that we have all been waiting for. The finale, SWAT teacher's favorite. The one we initially called martingale, but is actually a grid trading strategy. Here, I explain the retracement mode. Matap Hoja already explained the extension node. Let me briefly explain that one too. I never use it myself. I just included it in case anyone wants to use it. The most effective extension levels are 1.272, 1.414, 1.618, and 2.0. Usually, you get a reaction at 1.272 or 1.618. This works like this. Only retracement works in manual mode. It's written in the guide, so you won't forget. You can check it if you want. In manual retracement, enter at 38.2. For extension, my friend, enter at 1.272. What does this mean? It means this. If you select something else, like auto detect or another option, even if you choose it, it won't work. It won't react. It only works in manual mode. So let's find a wave. Let's say there's one here. This wave works a lot, but I don't really like using it because the end drags on. Let's say I set retracement to 23.6 from the manual panel. Let's do it. Let's even keep it in sight. When you look at it, it becomes more permanent. I set 23.6 to manual, and for extension, I chose 1.272. The bot started working. It came and measured. It bought for me at 23.6 and took profit. What happened? The price kept extending. It kept going up, 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 up. Where did it touch? 1,272. Where am I waiting? I'm waiting there. From here, it opens a reverse trade. It entered a long trade from here. It went long as a correction of the uptrend. So which extension level does this correspond to? 1,272, spot on. From here, it includes you in the trade. You take your money and get out right here. If the 23.6 trade you place here, if it doesn't get activated, then if the price comes and reaches 127, it won't take you in here either. There's only one condition for this extension setup to work. The retracement trade you set up here will either be opened and hit take profit or stop loss. After that, the extension comes into play. Because what does this mean? It included you from here. It means the correction is over and the price is moving now. Whether you hit take profit or stop loss, it doesn't matter. The correction hasn't made a deeper move down yet. If it doesn't make a deeper correction down, okay, then it just takes the last move and goes. How far will it go? Well, it'll go up to here. It includes you from here as well. You make a profit again from here. It came for the second time. It already reacted again. This is clearly a robotic movement here. A human wouldn't do this. This is the extension. Right now, I'll get to this point for the final. And that's this. If used correctly, it can be very profitable. If used incorrectly, it's just a click that can blow up your account in a single day. Grid technology or the grid trading structure is this. Let's say manual. It only works manually. You said enter manually at 38.2, but enter with grid. When you say enter with grid, FL100 never works, whether it's open or closed. Why doesn't it work? Because it buys based on levels and lowers your average purchase price. Now, I'll explain it clearly on the chart. It always puts your stop at the very bottom of the wave, just below the fourth. Let's explain now. Let's find a spot where it'll work like this. Here it is. Now, let's take a much closer look. Let's put this next to it too. Switching to the manual operation mode, enter at 38.2, enter extension. If you check this, it won't work. It's empty. Let's skip this too. This means, friends, open my first trade at 38.2. 7 of them. There is a Fibonacci level called retracement that's used worldwide. From 38.2. Open this one. It measured the price. It also detected this reversal. It starts placing the orders. At the same time, 1 here. Whatever's written here. If it says 1, then 1. If it says 5, then 5. So what happens is that it places one contract right here, then another contract here, a third contract here, a fourth contract here, one more right here, and one over there. Now, you just watch how this unfolds. When the price action comes down, first it takes this initial one. As soon as it successfully takes this position, the system automatically moves the stop loss to exactly 4 ticks above where the wave originally started, which is right here. If you decided to leave one contract at each specific level, it carefully measures the total distance from the very first level it took to this point, and then it sets your take profit target somewhere down here. Then, as we see in this specific example, if the market price also takes the 50 level, at the moment when it takes that 50, you'll have 2 contracts remaining. The stop loss itself doesn't move, but since you are now holding 2 contracts, your initial take profit level automatically gets adjusted closer to the stop loss. Automatically, this one also follows that logic and is moved up accordingly. The TP starts to get closer. The price reached the 3rd level and took this one too. After it takes this one still doesn't move. It stays fixed in place. But the TP doesn't stay the same. The TP takes the average of these 3 trades in total. After calculating the average, it looks at the value here. It then updates itself up here by doubling that value. It comes and takes this one. Now you have 4 contracts in your hand. This one still doesn't move. It's fixed, solid. But this is the 4th one. Since it's the average of 4 contracts, it brought the TP here. So what happened? The price has now gotten really close to the TP. With a short reversal, you exit with the profit of 4 contracts from a trade you started with just 1 contract. This one comes. There are 2 more levels here. It decided to reverse at 707. It didn't take 78.6 or 88.6. Okay, whether the SLF is fixed or not, when the first reversal starts from here, I call that the first leader, the first FIP level. And when there's a close below the second FIP level, it pulls this here and removes these 2 levels. You can't enter those anymore. You're protected with 4 contracts. Your stop comes back to the closest price. As the price moves, it keeps trailing behind by 0.25. Let's also take these along the leader's path. If it had taken this one too, the TP would have moved up a bit more. SR wouldn't have budged. If it had taken this one too, the TP would have moved up a bit more. It wouldn't have played this one. When the price reversed this much from here, you would have made good money from this trade with 6 contracts and gotten out. This grid system works entirely with this logic. The TP keeps getting updated with the average at each level, moving closer to the price, while ESR only starts trailing it by 0.25 after the price moves away from the SL point by a certain level. With a short reversal, it will already do an SLTP, a trial TP for you there. We call that an SL trial. You actually get stopped out, but you leave the trade with a profit. Here's the risky part. You shouldn't use the level 1 use like 23.6, because then your SL distance is far, since it always puts the SL here. Even if it takes just one level, this is where the SL goes. If it takes 2 levels, since there isn't a higher level, whether this is marked or not, as I said, it doesn't mean anything. If you check this grid, it'll automatically say, I see this as open, so I'm putting it here, and continue with its operations. And that's how it ends the trade. The last thing I'll talk about is a trial stop. I mean, I'll explain it later in terms of features. Trailing stop. Here's how that works. Where should I assign it from? You enter the trade at 700Z. You didn't set SL 100. This is off. Why? Because I want to take a small loss. Here, you took an entry from here. In the short direction, you placed it here. What's this distance? That's your stop distance. How much did you write here? 1. Let's say 2, just to make it easier to understand. Let's say 2, because it won't work with 1. For the trailing stop to work, it needs to see at least a 1R profit. If you're going to take profit at 1R, the trailing won't move anyway. Let's say 2, here's how it works. The distance here, this area, let's say this is your take profit zone, and this is also your take profit zone. After the price picks you up from here and then turns, this is the 1R level. When the price reaches the 1R level as it moves down, it will automatically move this stop to your entry level from here. Then, as the price moves forward by 0.25, it follows behind by 0.10. It keeps trailing quickly like this until you reach here. It doesn't wait for the candle to close. However many pips it moves, it immediately shifts behind it dynamically. Tick, 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 tick. What I'm describing applies to time frames of 15 seconds, 1 minute, and up to 5 minutes. On all time frames after 5 minutes, it moves by waiting for the candle to close. But on the 15-second chart, by the time it waits for the candle to close, the price can reverse and stop you out. That's why we didn't set it up that way. As long as it's for 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 1 minute, the trailing stop follows behind for every tick it moves. And on all time frames above 1 minute, it moves after waiting for the candle to close. Let's move on to the final section. I didn't skip anything here. There's nothing left. Let's open this one too. You skipped a part. We'll come back to it. When using martingale, you need to change the max loss. Exactly. Let me explain that too. Thanks for reminding me. Here's how it works. It works the same way as it does for retracement. So the $300 loss you set according to your wavelength only applies to martingale here. If you check this box but do not enter a value here, you could end up with a huge loss because the wave could extend and the gaps between levels could get really wide. Maybe you entered at 707 or at 38, and at each level the gap is like 200, 200, 200, and suddenly you see a $600 or $700 loss, and your stop loss is at $1,200. If you leave this at 0, that is what happens. But if you write 500 here, it does not happen. It protects you. It comes here, takes this level, takes that level, and if the wave extends, it cancels the upper levels and does the calculation internally. So it enters a martingale grid structure where you can only lose $500 on that trade. Otherwise, it cancels the other levels if your entry level has not been filled yet. This is its protection. Daiba, thank you. That was a good reminder. Now, there is also this. I came here and made a setting because this happens. It'll happen to all of you during the day. I changed this part. I came here and changed this. I entered right away. I started the bot. Time passed and so on. Wait a minute. I shouldn't change anything else. Okay, the one I just found was working really well, but it was the one I found 5 tries about. What am I going to do? This is where this part comes into play. When you find a setting for yourself, save that setting, please, because it's something very valuable. I'm constantly trying to find sets. There are some really great sets I found. I'm finishing up their tests. I'll share them. Actually, I have a lot of other news too. So I'm going to get rid of the whole set problem as well. I'll explain that to you at the end too. Let's say you set something up here. For example, before noon on NASDAQ Micro, 77. You watched it for 5 days, just like that. It doesn't go past it. Nice. Keep the 77 and the 130. Let me set this up and work on it before noon. Let this one stay as it is too. Let this one stay like this as well. Okay, save this. Open it here. Say before noon, my MN215 second before noon. Write a note however you like. Save it. Then you closed it. You left. You came back the next day. Open it from here too. Am I going to work on Bowl? Open your stuff here. Your folders. The gold set. This set. That set. His set. The set before Mune. Put them in nice and neat. You won't forget anything. When you hit load, all those settings will be loaded here completely. You just run the bot. That's it. I'll give you the last update as the special set coming soon that I mentioned. We're still working on it. You know the Telegram APN? This is basically the channel's own API and chat ID on Telegram. The actions taken by the bot you run are reflected in the shared bot group. We don't know who got it here because over there only one account shows up. Actually, let me show you that as well, normally. You can also do this yourself by entering the token and chat ID here. Just type botfather here and I'll give you the details. You open the bot, then say, give me my chat ID, and it gives you your chat ID. You enter your own chat ID here and your own token here, the one given to you by botfather. Then all the messages and actions you initiate, whichever bot you use, will come only to your own Telegram. Let me explain it like this. So this is RangeBot's own channel, Fibo's own channel, Mitigation's own channel, and Dual's own channel. Each of these has its own chat ID. If I set it up here, only the trades I initiate with Fibo will come here. Or, for example, Mitigation's trades would come here. Think of it like that. But here, by default, you can delete the information that's saved when you download Addis. This is for the information we enter so that it goes to the shared group and people can see it. If you change this under the conditions I mentioned, it will only come to you. It will belong to you. It will be private for you. Other than that, the last thing I want to say is this, friends. The project I'm currently working on is this. The set, the biggest lesson set, because the market moves differently every day. Today, the 50s work, tomorrow something else works, other things, whatever, work. And then you switch to another pair. In this one, you've measured 70 for the day. Okay, fine. Look, the American session has opened. What happened? It became 600 ticks. What'd you get out of it? From your set? Got set is done. You finished. You got torn to pieces here. That's why what we're working on right now is this. It analyzes the market before the time you turn on the robot, within itself. It checks. Let's say you turned on the robot at 12 noon and ran it here. If you started it with the 15-second setting, it won't make any trades for the first 40 minutes. It just watches the market. If it's set to 1 minute, it's like the first 20 minutes, and so on. There are different settings. I won't go into detail. First, what it does is, before it starts, it goes back to the Asian session. It checks. Which waves? Which lengths were used? How much of a correction has there been? At which level did the correction work? It keeps track of all that with its own internal algorithm. It keeps track. After the price reaches the end, it says, today the market is ranging. No, today the market is trending. After it decides internally whether today is a range day or not, from the moment it starts working, it moves forward by keeping the entire previous analysis in front of it. If the market feels like this to me today, it must be a range day. So instead of entering 38-23-26, it chooses the levels itself. Today it says 78-6 is a deeper correction, and it picks that. For example, when there's high volume during the American Open, it changes its own set internally. It can switch between 10 different sets throughout the day, depending on the market's movement. When the American session opens, it immediately switches to the high volume set because there's already high volume. We're currently working on a project that enters much more cautiously at shorter levels and only where it sees volume. After that's done, there's no need to worry about which set will work where and so on. It'll automatically adjust its own settings for each pair anyway. Other than that, there isn't much else to say.
Sir, this protocol is excellent.
Yes, sir. We actually saved it as the cherry on top for the finale. Let me not skip this classic major point either. This was actually what Mr. Mahir asked at the beginning. I mean, if he had wanted to explain it, he could have. As I said when I was designing this, normally with Impulse, I didn't follow the Fibonacci rules because it'll be working on a smaller time frame. I said, let it open wherever it sees the last swing, the last wave doesn't have to be an impulse, because even if it's not an impulse, that level still works. So measure it, look, we can check it together if you want at another time. Let me not make it any heavier. Here in the major, I added something that looks longer and wider inside. Gradually, I will only evolve the impulses inside, meaning I will make it so that it only looks at the correction of a wave that truly is an impulse by breaking the previous high. In the major, it's already working very close to that structure right now. I just need to work on it a bit more. That's all for me for now, friends. Let's take your questions.
Birkin, really, thank you so much for your hard work. And I also want to thank everyone involved with this BOT, all the people mentioned. It's been done very successfully and with great attention to detail, especially looking at the recent ASOL market, taking measurements there, waiting 40 minutes, and then making a trade based on that. It's just legendary. Really good. I have a quick question, and then I'll be done.
Go ahead.
You can also answer when you talk about the preceptor. So at the fund company I'm currently with, they don't allow scalping. I mean, 15.
Seconds? Or is it the fund that's more restrictive?
The fund.
Prop, okay.
Could there be such a setting for them in the prop as well?
Right now, we have that kind of setting in our other bots. It's available in the dual bot and the micro bot. Here's how it works.
When you say dual, have you ever thought about it for Fibo, or will it be available?
I preferred to keep Fibo's panel very simple so that the user doesn't get overwhelmed. But as people use it over time, for example, right now, the SL100 stop distance is 4 ticks from where the wave starts. Now, after a while, as people use it, they'll say, Coach, 4 ticks is too little. Because when we first started this, there was no such thing as ticks. This was the stop. Then SWAT said, let's make it 2. 2 wasn't enough either, so we increased it to 4. Now, slowly, some of our users abroad who rent from us are saying, Coach, let's make this 8 ticks for backtesting. I said, go ahead, do the backtest and prove to me that 8 ticks actually work on a pair. I said, let's do it. From the beginning, I didn't want to add this as a special setting to the panel. SWAT knows this too. Because if you leave the SL control to the user, the chance of blowing up the account is much higher. Then the 500 risk control mechanisms I put in the background become meaningless. Because if there are too many settings in the background and you enter the wrong number somewhere without really knowing what you're doing, you usually end up thinking, oh man, I wish I hadn't put that there, which is common in the market. Because the FL is always closer to you. The chance of hitting your stop loss is much higher than the chance of hitting your take profit. That's why we didn't do it. But if there's a lot of demand in the future, we might leave the stop loss manual. And if the number is below 100, I'll add another feature there. You write 10, it stops at 10 ticks. You write 15, it stops at 15. So, like I said, right now, together with you, the first users,
In the future, there might be other different presets, depending on what users want.
after all, since we're still at the very beginning of this journey, you all are really lucky. And that's actually why we're giving you twice as much as what you paid for. So you can use it more, experiment more, give us more feedback, and help us move forward faster. I just finished that thing. Let me show it to you as well. Since everything's here now, here's CFT. So we're here too now. Let me put it this way. It's the same bot. Everything I've explained is exactly the same.
This is MetaTrader 5, right, sir?
Yeah, it's ready for MetaTrader 5 as well.
Awesome.
You can use whichever pair you want. Same features. Everything I explained is exactly the same here, 1-to-1. Right now, I'm doing the final live tests. It's been running on the computer all day anyway. We're checking them. If we see any issues, we fix them as we go. It's basically done, just a week or 2 more of testing, and then we'll put it on the meta market or our website. There are people who want it from there, especially those trading on CFT. Very.
Well done, Burkahan Hojan. Today's video was very detailed. You know, this has been said many times.
I had mentioned it. Yeah, I had said it many times.
So if it gets uploaded soon, we should watch it and really study it thoroughly. You explained a lot of things in great detail. Thank you.
Feel free to ask anytime. My email address is virtuehannet@gmail.com. And my Telegram is just Burkahan. Add me there and ask whenever you want. I sit here from 5 in the morning. In the evening, 8, 9, 10, 11 p.m., I'm here as long as I have the energy. So you can reach out and connect whenever you want. Because right now, you really are a special group within the TC42 family, since you are the very first ones. And I want to thank each of you for joining, whether you gave money, supported us, or didn't support us. I also want to thank those who supported us, even just with a demo. And you are all valuable, my friends.
You too, teacher. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Teacher, I'll leave it to you while I get a drink of water.
I was going to ask a question, Miss Virtue, just a quick one.
Yes, when is it?
Do we need to click on Soft Protect Enabled? If a number's entered, vary.
It's great, really. We didn't even talk about the best part. It was amazing. Now, wow, you cut that absolutely perfectly. So big congratulations to you. Let's explain that part too. It's necessary. Honestly, I've just gotten completely used to it by now. I closed the license section, not because I see something suspicious. Anyway, that license code will be closed after this broadcast. I get annoyed because the screen gets bigger because I open this place 500 times a day. This means the following, friends. Let's say I make 200 to 300 here daily, then stop. And you said to stop if you lose 600. If you don't check this, don't let the money management system or the limits here confuse you at all. This is all about the transactions themselves. These two spots are related to your bankroll. If this isn't checked, the values you enter here are hard limits, meaning it will stop with strict rules. If you make a $300 profit, it won't open any more trades. If you hit $600, it won't open any more trades either. But if you check soft protected and leave a value here, let's say you leave it as 300 to 600, this means the following. Congratulations! It looks like you have successfully reached your total profit target of exactly $300 today. Great job! You actually started the robot at exactly 8 o'clock in the morning. The robot hit that target at 10 o'clock. So what, are you going to stay out of trades for the rest of the day? This is a personal psychological risk decision. That's why this checkbox was added here. If you don't check this, you might say, yeah, $300 is enough for me. After that, I'm heading to the beach. Shut down your computer and just leave. The same thing applies for the stop as well. But if this is checked, then the robot does the following. You've hit $300. It's 10 o'clock. I'm not hard. I'm soft. Okay, then it says, for the trades I'll open after this, you've told me to enter at 38.2 or at 50. You've left the setting like that. You've said okay and left with this checked. It hit 300. After hitting 300, it automatically thinks this. This is the profit I've made. Man, put 50% of this in your pocket. Enter with a $150 risk. And now for the next trade. Enter with a $150 risk. Okay. But not from 38.2. Automatically, the level drops to 78.6. In other words, it brings you as close as possible to SL100, so you take a small loss. You've already saved the day anyway. Here, you'll do small scalps. Then go as far as you can down. No matter which level you choose here, if So Protected is on, it automatically moves you down to 38.2. It moves 78.6 down. At 78.6, there's also an 88.6. And below that, you already have your 100 stop level. If you get stopped out here, you'll lose $30 to $40. But if you win, you'll get more. You'll get 50 to 100. Okay, this trade hit TP. I made another $50 from this trade. So that makes 200, dividing half. He says, I have a $100 risk. For the second trade, okay, it goes on like this. Third in a row, into the trade. If he gets 2 consecutive stop losses, he closes the day after back-to-back SLs. That's it. On a day when you were supposed to reach 300, you ended up with 420. That's what this provides.
But this doesn't apply to the daily loss, right? Did it hit 250? Even if enabled is checked, it still stops at 250.
Let's talk exact numbers. Oh, we're talking about this part? If it had gone entirely by taking profit right now, I'm talking about daily profit here.
Now,
I'm going to explain daily loss now. This is how it works. I hit a $600 loss. Yes, it's 8 in the morning, and after just 3 trades, I got wiped out and lost $600. Now, some friends write to me saying, Coach, we lost $300 in just 3 trades this morning. Should we turn off the bot? But if you turn off the bot now, how can you turn that loss into a profit? You just lose the whole day. Why is the day important for us? Well, there are 30 days, but you can only trade on 20 of those 30 days. And you have 20 days to pass a prop account. So there's nothing worse than shutting down for the day at 10 in the morning. It'll put you in a tough spot at the end. So just let it run, and if the account blows up, let it blow up. If you lose your money, let it go. Let it go. Why? It's just the evaluation fee you're losing. The 30 euros you paid, you're all getting it for 20 to 30 euros anyway with those 70% or 50% discounts. And there are days when you'll have to take risks, Batu. Now, I see all of you. You traded with 5 contracts, 2 contracts, stuff like that. Why? Nextbro is offering a 75% discount until the 23rd. Plus, we have our own 10% discount. So that's an 80% discount. So a 50K account that normally costs 169 euros, you're getting it now for like 24 or 20 euros. Okay, go ahead and get it. Forget micro lots, just go for a mini lot. Open a martingale, go for it. Enter at 38.2, boom, boom, boom. Take 800, 900, 1000 and close it. Lock the account and cash out. Did it blow up? Let it blow up. Let it blow up until the 23rd of the month. Why? The account you bought for 24 euros, reset. It's half price. You'll reset it for 12 euros anyway, ma'am. Just make sure you get it at the start of this 75% discount without wasting time. Take the risk in the first 3 to 4 or 5 days. Get the account funded. After you get it funded with the sets I'll give you, you'll easily make 200 to 300 a day. But none of you have a funded account. And you don't want to take risks without being funded. Go for it. Blow it up. Really go for it during these big discounts because the money you lose is really small. And I ended up explaining it here too. Let me explain one last hard part. And that's this 600. Currently, there is a strict $600 hard stop in place for the account, but this specific marked system is designed to operate with the following logic. It essentially says, I am going to risk $600 on this first position, and then I will only risk $300 for the very next trade. Consequently, if that second trade successfully hits the take profit target, the system will then automatically adjust to risk 50% of the previous amount once again for the subsequent move. If the third trade hits take profit, it's 45. For the fourth trade, if the fourth trade hits take profit, it's 45. As long as trades keep hitting take profit, it keeps decreasing by 5 points each time until you get 2 stops in a row and it stops. As you keep making money with each take profit, since half of this value will increase, the risk you take next time will be lower. This automatically takes the 78.6 for itself. Once you set it here, it doesn't matter anymore. The smallest loss mechanism takes over, and in 2 cases this also shuts itself off. So it works as the opposite of profit. If this is checked, thanks for reminding me it's important at this point.
Thank you very much. There is nothing else I need at this moment.
That is all for now, friends, truly.
Teacher, everything that needed to be considered has been thought of. It seems to be working, but one thing caught my attention, teacher. Can I mention it? I noticed something missing. I mean, there's no option or anything about how we're going to spend the money we make. So this part's missing.
We have a shared fund. Everyone will put a portion of their earnings into it. Just imagine, it's a new day, friends. If anyone gets into trouble, like, teacher, my fund crashed, I don't have any money to get right away, we transfer some from our fund to them so they can get a new fund. That's how the system works, honestly.
How nice. Honestly, it's a great thing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right.
That's exactly what we had in mind.
Will you provide a preset for those who buy the bot, teacher? For those who have a favorite account,
I will. I'm working on it. There is one right now. I actually have a couple of really nice sets. I mean, we've tested them all, January, February, March, April, May. So without taking any risks, it's currently making between $2,000 and $2,500 in 5 months just by running it with very small moves between 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. There's also one set that's a bit riskier. That one makes between $4,000 and $4,800. It easily makes $300 to $400 a day. Meanwhile, our other team members are working on these as well. On the one hand, I'm working too, but for the past 10 days, my main focus has been on making it find its own set by itself. So if I tried to come up with a set myself, I could do it much faster, but honestly, I just don't have the time for that right now. That's why when I say I'll give it, I end up sounding a bit like a liar. Next week, I'll share a set. I can promise you that right now.
so if we message you on Monday, we can handle it then.
There's no need for you to message me. It won't be Monday, but by Wednesday, I already have all the information and emails of those who bought the bot. I'll share it with a special email. Thank
you very much.
Hello, Professor.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Go ahead. You ask first. I'll ask after you.
Okay, then. I was actually planning on asking you if the algo and auto settings function properly in restraint mode during the replay.
All features work in replay, everyone.
All right.
But if it's the release version, it won't work in the demo.
All right, then. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Professor, I have a question too. You mentioned either 1 minute 30 seconds or 3 minutes. Up until now, the time frame I've been running this on was 15 seconds. So as far as I understand, can we also run it at 15 seconds and 1 minute?
You can run it on all of them. The reason why everyone who is renting or using the demo is running it at 15 seconds right now is because of the safe set I initially found. Everyone is using that set. Everyone is entering the 77 NASDAQ wave at intervals of 0.25 or 0.30. I see that some people try 38.50 instead of 23.6 here during the day. That's why 15 seconds is being used, because the first set I found was one that worked properly at 15 seconds. That's the reason. Otherwise, you can use any time frame you want, but then the wavelengths will change. So for there to be a single impulse here, the required wave, well, let me not call it the American year. Let me come over here. Let me take a look here. This wave is 100 steep. Now by the way, this is a 1 minute chart, not 15 seconds. Let's switch to the 5 minute chart. Let's measure one impulse. Now this wave is an impulse. It came up to here but couldn't close. It's not an impulse. The impulse happens here. Still no close. Let's see. Let me also say this. For a wave to be considered an impulse, a wick above the previous peak doesn't count. It needs to close with a buy. This wave first becomes an impulse right here. On this closed body. Look, 650 ticks. You need to adjust it accordingly. If you set it to 77 ticks, it would look like this. I used it on the 5 minute chart. 77 ticks. So what happens, this is NASDAQ. All right, let's measure it. It's 100 ticks. In 2 candles, what happened? There's not even a price here. You can't open a trade here. That's why my advice to you is, before you start in the morning, decide which time frame you'll be using. Do you want 15 seconds? Open the 15-second chart. It's very simple. Do this. Zoom out from the chart. Go to the start of the day. Then zoom in. Measure it. That's why I mentioned the mouse's middle scroll at the very beginning. Just measure the impulses. So measure the wave that breaks the previous high. How much? 120. Is this an impulse? No. Is this an impulse? No. Is this an impulse? Yes. It broke the last low. Okay. 100. Did this one break it? Yeah. How much? 100. Did this one break it? Yes. I couldn't break it. This one? Yes. This one? 120. This one couldn't break it. 60. It broke it here. 100. Yes, okay. 100, 100, 100. Clearly, it's going. This is my wave for the day. Measure it until it gets here to me. At what point did you run the robot? Did you run it here? Measure this for another hour or two like this. It stays at 100. At 100, it opens. Let's say 90 to open easier. That's why this doesn't change anything. This is all a lie. I mean, everything you see here, it's all about this measurement. Are you going to run it on the hourly? Tomorrow on Metafader. It's a bit difficult here, Thav. Do the same thing there too. Measure the length of the impulse wave. 3,420 ticks. Okay, so if you had said 3,000, you would have taken the trade here. Think of it that way. Let's take a look like this. Teacher.
When I said time health, I didn't mean an hour. I meant like 30 seconds or 1 minute.
It doesn't matter at all. Let me explain the worst case scenario.
No, I'm aware that we won't be running it with the same preset. I just wanted to ask this. If we run the bot on the 1 minute chart right now, and I want to use my own presets, for example, if I want to run it on gold and try to get a sample result, can I also run the bot on gold? So can I also run it on a different time frame?
Is what I want to find out. You can run it on any time frame. I only explained the timing because I misunderstood. But as I said, measurement is valid for that specific time frame. In the morning, make sure to measure it at whatever minute you plan to run it. Look, after that, enter the value and let it run it.
Professor, I want to ask something. Should we measure the impulse here or the correction, Professor? Because the place where we'll take action is at 23 or 38, right? Is it better to look at where the correction catches and goes down, where the wave takes off from, or is that more accurate? Or should we focus on the lengths of the impulses, Professor? Did I explain myself?
I understand.
Because when I wake up in the morning, I look back and measure the wavelength. So if the impulse is above or below 77 ticks, that area stays open anyway. Where did the correction turn from? Where did it take off from? Was it from 38 or from 50? Based on that, I actually switch to manual and say, take me from 50 or take me from 38, and I extend it like that. So honestly, I adjust it accordingly. If it's taking from 23 and going down, or if it's taking from 23 and going up, I actually adjust it based on that, to be honest.
Here, actually, the main point where you need to make that decision in your daily analysis isn't whether the wave is an impulse or not. Where did it turn from?
The actual estimated total price?
From which level did it react before it reached you? Did the 23s work better? Or the 38s? Or the 50s? Or the 61.8? Was it a deep correction? Look at back. If the last 5 retrace moves that came to you were at 61.8, then today is a deep correction day. It's going to go deep. Plan your day around 78.6 and 61.8. Keep checking your measurements throughout the day, because it changes during the day. If there was only one level, then everyone would just pick that level all day and win, right? That's why it changes during the day.
I'll be doing separate presentations like it's 16 and 21.
Exactly. That's the right way anyway. Congrats. You can easily figure that out in the replay too. I'll do a special replay stream again as well, after a few more people join in. In that replay stream, I'll also show what I pay attention to and how to pull out the set.
Birkenhojam, as you said, after measuring the impulse and retracements on the 3-minute chart, according to the scalp rule I mentioned, and then adjusting the bot accordingly, we are actually following the scalp rule as well. So basically, we are adjusting it by changing the bot. Yes?
Let me put it this way. Now, the 0.25 lock calculation is actually something that's entirely designed for the 15-second chart. If you move up to the 1-minute chart here, you can't use 0.25 in the same way. There's no such world anyway. Don't use it because it doesn't make sense. Let me put it this way. Let's see, it got a rejection at 38.2. For example, if you had auto trading on here, 1, 2, 3, it would have triggered a short from here going down. Put your stop here, don't put it there. On higher time frames, just let it hit the stop. If it does, you'll only lose this much money. But also go into the settings and adjust them by 3s or 4s.
This way, it separates very easily.
Set it high, but turn on the trailing stock.
Yes.
Let me remind you again by showing this. Come here and set it to 3. Then come here and turn on the trailing stop as well. Remove this too, a slightly higher time frame. Anyway, get stopped out here. The price got rejected here once, twice, 3 times. All right, it's obvious it's going to get burned down from here. You put it here. Let's see how many R's it gave. If I said 22 ticks is 3R, that's 66 ticks. Click, click. That's not enough. 4, 5. As you can see,
You can choose up to 5 different options.
it went up to 5, up to here, that's 68. With one mini, you make this much. With one micro, well, with a micro or a mini, with a mini, you make $670 here in 3 minutes. And since your stop is right behind you, you don't have any loss. If it turns around, you'll still close in profit.
Yes.
Since we switched to a higher time frame, the profits increase. That's why you should raise your stop and open the trailing. Just let it flow, go down with the price, it follows right behind. Make a clear correction here. If you had caught it here, let me put it this way. This wave would most likely have been considered a swing. Fibo 137, exactly. If it had been a 150-point wave, it would have caught the reversal from here to there and would have opened a trade here. If you had entered at 38, even a monster couldn't have caught this move because it was a late scene. It would have just gone. In such a way, if you had said 707 here and left it here, it made a deep correction at 78.6, then dropped down 180, 360 ticks. That's the advantage of trading on a longer time frame. It doesn't turn into scalping. It becomes more like intraday. You can just watch it calmly, sip your tea, and make more money. In this move alone, you would have already funded $3,000. That's all for me, friends. If you have any questions.
Thanks again. Much appreciated.
Sure thing. Let's grow together.
Thank you so much, teacher. I really appreciate everything you've done, teacher. It means a lot.
Can I ask something about the 15-second protocol?
Of course.
You know how we set it to 0.25 in risk management, teacher? If we set it lower than 1 in normal settings, like 0.9 or 0.8,
Yes.
would that be better? When I watch it for 15 seconds, it gives 1 lot, but sometimes it comes out to like 1.4. Or to make it more reliable or to allow for more trades, what if we set the lot size to 0.9 or 0.8? How would that work?
Well, in that case, actually, but then they invest a lot. After the fund payout, when it goes to the risk desk, if it looks like the trade was taken in a certain amount of time and something's being done constantly, on Next Rope, it's not.
It doesn't matter.
I'm actually talking about another company, not Next Rope.
So,
I'm asking just to fully understand the question. Which R are we talking about?
I'm talking about the R in the trading settings, sir.
Okay.
I'm saying I'll set the money management below to 0.25 for that process.
So what value will you set this to?
This one, 0.9. 0.9.
If you're setting this to 0.9, set this one to 0.8. Setting this to 0.8, 0.3, 0.2, or 0.1 doesn't affect anything. As I said, this value is just so it can determine whether the trade hit take profit or not.
And so,
Write a slightly lower value here than what you wrote above. It works. I mean, this is what makes it work. In other words, for it to be able to say, I hit take profit on the first trade, now I'll increase by 5 lots and open 6 lots on the second trade, it determines whether the trade hit take profit not from here, but from here. Unfortunately, the system doesn't connect it here. That's why there's a second R value, actually a minimum R. Let's see what we've written in the description. The minimum realized R threshold required for the thread result to be counted as win-loss is 0.25, default recommendation. I'll remove this from here too, so it doesn't cause confusion, because if you set this to 0.30, 0.25, yes.
pick 1 or 2.
Let me put it this way, to be clear. The value here should never be greater than the value over there. Otherwise, it will always open with this lot size. So the value here needs to be more positive, and the value over there needs to be more negative, so that it continues by increasing the lot size in the next trade. In other words, so that the system works.
Yes. I mean, I want to keep the risk ratio on the 15-second chart low. That's why, teacher. And then,
Makes sense. Quarter or 1.5 the teal.
bro, I don't want to do that. For example, I want one of them to be 6.
I use 0.25.
Really? Yes.
I use 0.25 for this. When I use this one, I use 0.24.
Okay, teacher. Be careful.
Exactly.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. I think it's a useful game. Those who are sleeping.
For real.
Thank you.
Teacher, it was really nice. Thank you. May God bless you.
It was really great, teacher. Thank you, teacher.
I want to say and ask something.
Of course, go ahead.
This is honor. I was just wondering, when exactly are you planning to publish this video online?
If my teacher Suat were to still be alive and sends me that great video he made, for example.
You posted it here, okay. But come on, your wife? What would it matter if you gathered everyone here?
Teacher?
I'm intervening right away.
You know your wife has work to do right now. Your wife is busy over there. If your wife wasn't busy, she'd gather everyone here.
Sir Hat, look, she does not really need to listen to you here in this place. The things you say inside the house. Yes. I've turned it back on. You can turn your microphones back on.
The video clip.
I'm curious about when the video will be published. The video?
I'll make sure to send it to Professor Birkin in just a little bit.
Okay, now I'd really like to add something else here. After I shared that specific update in the group, the impressive profits I've been making with the bot lately, a whole lot of my friends started messaging me constantly. So that's exactly why I was feeling a bit curious about when the video would finally be published for everyone to see.
Let those who are interested join our group and let them find us.
Honestly, that's how I tried to direct them a bit too. During the day, I was getting questions like, how much did I earn today? Or how much is it now? So here's what I did in the demo. After Burke and Teacher's broadcast, I thought I'd start trying out the wavelengths. I went with the Fibonacci numbers. One of them worked. And it worked really well for 7 days. But right now, for example, it's not working as well. Since it was a demo, I couldn't adjust all the settings anyway. I wasn't familiar with them either. That's what I wanted to say. Also, Burke and Teacher, while I was doing that, I tried 1,000 times, 500, and went backwards. Is that the right thing to do? That's what I want to ask.
Birkin? Are you there?
My microphone cut out, sorry. So when you were doing Binix, what was the time frame in the replay?
15 seconds. I learned today that it's not correct.
It's completely useless. That's just wasted time. It's definitely not right. Oh my, just give me one moment. I'll show you some. There are so many things open. Just a second, guys. What you see right here on the screen is our very own custom replay model that we are currently working hard on behind the scenes, which is unfortunately disabled in your current public versions. Replay model. It's added here and has a lot of features below. Let me show you now. When you run it, you can see everything. Hard daily limit, soft protect, what was done in martingale, and the comparison between replay and live. What happened? In the replay, were those transactions really executed live? The whole system does this in the background. It's not like 1,000 times or 1 times or anything like that. I can get a full day's replay with complete accuracy in 4 minutes at most. It takes 1 or 2 minutes. If I test a whole month with the set I want, I automatically get the results for all settings in about 9 minutes already. Why do we do this? We did it because of the replay. With Suat Hocha, we did replays for days, for months. We didn't get bored or tired. We're doing replays. We keep doing it over and over. Every time a different result comes out. Then the next day, I run the bot during the Asian session. I keep watching it live until 23. I take that data, I do a replay, of the previous day. I take a look. It's got nothing to do with it. What I did in the replay has nothing to do with it. Then, after going through the documentation and all that, we found out that don't go over 1 times or 2 times. When I say 1 times or 2 times, it already takes a whole day. How am I supposed to do a replay of that? Let me put it this way. In small time frames like 1 minute and all the seconds below that, including 3 minutes, for these, the most you can do in replay is 5 times speed. For more accurate results on higher time frames like 5 to 60 minutes, you can use up to 1,000 times if you want. Because even if you do 1,000 times, for example, this candle, it still takes 5 minutes to close. So even at 1,000 times speed, but if you're doing it on a 15-second chart, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So here's the easy way to do it. Let me mention that too, and then I'll wrap up. You're all using it on the 15-second chart. All of you. Okay. Go up to 150 to 200 times speed. Start it. Then take a look. Where does it open more trades? Where does it open them? Let's say it opens here. Okay. Look at the time here, man. Check the time here. Go between these 2 times, set up the replay. Start at this time, end at that time. Go to the 15-second chart. Then, with 5x, you'll catch this wave correctly. Create your own window. Limit yourself to the area where there are the most waves and trades. So if you lower your X, then the right artist gives a closer result. But let me switch to the 15-second chart, set just 1, and look at it with 1,000 times. No, nothing. It doesn't look for a gap or anything.
Man, why does this motivate people, teacher?
Yes. We actually did this because I was going crazy when every time it came out differently. I mean,
Thank you, teacher.
you're welcome.
Yes.
Teacher, that turned into $1 million thing. That's a legendary thing. It's become something legendary in every way.
No other way to do it anyway. What bots?
Could have done it? It's like an invention, really.
We couldn't have made the bots or given you a proper set. A lifetime wouldn't be enough to create a set like this.
Thank you for your hard work. Yeah.
Welcome. Let it continue. We all put in so much effort so that everyone could benefit. The market always took our money. Enough already. Now it's our turn.
Exactly. Guys, Birkin teacher is like Estella's. Rarely comes along. Hard to find. Not easy to come by. Doesn't show up. While we're here, ask as many questions as you can. Any questions? So, Ms. Virtue, teacher? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, teacher. It'll happen over time. Now everyone will try to process it. They'll watch the video. They'll take their own notes. They'll start to see things to compare with what I said. Questions will start popping up.
Will start popping up. Don't explain things just so they won't ask questions. I know your retest. Stop. If anyone has questions, let them ask me. Any questions, friends? Question? Probably just making it at.
Teacher, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Look. 1.
I'm really glad. Good evening. We all benefited from these Nespro discounts. We got a lot of discounts. As Professor Birkin mentioned, it gives 200 to 250 during daily fasting. Sometimes, to get through it faster, they suggest increasing the risk a bit. Do you? Or how should we increase it? How should we proceed?
I've always said the same thing. I just said it a moment ago, too. When evaluating, especially if there's a discount, don't use micro. Use mini. Use 1 mini.
Use many directly.
Use mini. If it blows up, let it blow up. After all, that money isn't yours. It's not money going into your pocket. Mine? I don't know how many accounts I have on NextProp, but the attacker knows, that's for sure. I have 4 accounts. Right now, there's $20,000 sitting at plus 5,000. I can't withdraw it because it passed the lucky punch roll. I set up the Fibo. It made $29.50 from one trade. It made $5,000 from another trade. The others were copying it. $5,000, it passed the lucky punch. If you can't withdraw the money, what difference does it make if $20,000 is sitting there or not?
It was no use at all.
If I'd have put it in AMP, just saying, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, whatever. By the evening, it made 300. I would have put that money in my pocket by the evening. Every day, Fibo makes 200 to 300 within itself. We all see this. We all know it already. Why don't we turn off the bot? Why don't we turn off the bot? Because we're pushing it, thinking there's no time left to pass the account. Normally, put $1,000 into a real account. I'm sure when it makes 200 a day, you'll all close it. That bot. You'll take it and you'll run the 200 again tomorrow. It'll make 200 again tomorrow. 20 days, that's $4,000 a month. You're not doing anything, and yet you have a trader working for you making $4,000 a month.
Yes, that is absolutely right. That's why the evaluation.
Exactly, because passing the evaluation isn't the goal either. Because passing the evaluation
is not a problem at all.
You need to make 3,000 for the 50K. Okay, you made 3,000. To withdraw money, you need to put up the margin there, and that's 2,500. You'll need to make another 2,500 to withdraw money. So unless you make $5,500, you can't withdraw even $1 from a $50,000 account.
Evaluation. I held one back so I wouldn't pass. Yesterday, that was a mistake. I ended up passing with that one. I mean, I added it too. I have set that one aside for the bug. I checked and saw it was 53,000. It had passed.
Review.
Otherwise, it passed. Yes, sir. Sorry.
No worries. Actually, I'm the one interrupting. The most important part of the evaluation is after you bring in an account at the withdrawal stage. That's when you have real money. It's like the $1,000 you put into EMP. That's when it happens. For that, you need to make it to 5,500. Until you reach 5,500, you can't do it with 1 micro, 2 micro, 3 micro, or 5 micro lots. Because there won't be enough time. You did it within 30 days, you got funded. Great. What did you gain? It's not money you gained, it's time. Because to get funded, you have 30 days for the evaluation account. I mean, 20. You have 20 trading days. After you get funded, there's no time limit. You can take 6 months to make the 2,500 if you want, or even 3 years if you want. After you pay the monthly €99 subscription fee, you already don't have time. But in the end, we're all doing this to make money against the clock. That's why, in my eyes, the evaluation account isn't worth a dime. Press it, and if it blows up, let it blow up.
Sir, I also want to ask a question about these evaluation fees. So, I have a question. So one of them passed, and they charge a fee of about €95 for that. I bought 10 from one account recently. From what I've read so far, even if I pass 10 of them, I'll pay one fee, even if I only pass one. That's right. That's right. And now, is it per account for me?
No.
There's one email address I linked there and one username. If I change the username, do I have to pay? The amount increases.
So, next probe.
There's some confusion here.
Let me explain. We'll clear it up right away. You can't sign up for next probe with a name and surname. From now on,
this username,
there's no such thing as signing up and then getting the account later. I'm just giving an example. Let's say you have one account on Nextprobe. Let's say you bought an account with the current discount. The moment you get the account, a next account number is assigned to your name and linked to that email. You are given a 50-gram account. To you. Okay. If you mess up that account, you won't even be able to log into Nextprobe. You can't log in. The account's gone. If there's only one account, if you have two accounts and one gets shut down, you can still log in with the other one. Let's say you bought 10 accounts. You copied them. You funded those too, and the beginning of a month came. What'd you have to pay? The fee is €99 per account, not €990, just €99. Whether it's for one account or 500 accounts, you pay the same monthly fee. That's the monthly fee they charge you in exchange for giving you unlimited time as a fund.
We can't find this account. Now, we bought this one, set it aside. It's the same account, so what was I asking for? With the username they gave, we bought another set of 5 accounts. Do I need to pay again? Is that right?
No.
For a second set of 5 or 10?
Yeah. If you have one funded account, you get them all. You don't pay for evaluations. There's no monthly fee for evaluations anyway. If you pass in 30 days, you pass. If you don't pass, it's over. So if you pass within 30 days, then you're good. Once you pay for one funded account, all the other funded accounts automatically get an extra month added as well. On top of that.
Now, yes. I want to switch topics. The topic of our broadcast is Fibo.
That's done. That's over. Yes.
The topic of our broadcast is FIBA. Let's wrap it up here. Because
It is becoming increasingly clear that absolutely nobody is following Next Prop. If there is anything at all they might be curious about regarding the question,
Let me ask.
now I get it. The details of the content in the NextProp account are a whole different topic. That's what I mean.
right.
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
So with Fibonacci, to the surroundings.
Well, I'm heading out, Tooch. How much do we increase our risk? From there, risky.
Look, you need to understand this. A very simple calculation. The salary given to you in the account is $50K. In the account, it's $2,500. You're buying this for $22, 22 euros. Now you're asking, how should I risk this? However you risk 22 euros, that's how it is. Because what you're risking in the account is 20,000 euros. I would take aggressive risks with 20,000 euros. With these discounts, I got nearly 20 funded accounts, evaluation accounts. I made 15 or 16 of them funded because I'm going to flip this. Now, if I try to reach that goal by making $150 to $200 on each of these one by one, I can't get there at this hour. The best is for $22. For $22, they give me $2,500. If I'm not going to take risks at this hour, when will I? Why shouldn't I risk it when I should be paying $150? I won't. Now, 22 lira. A single account in exchange for 7 accounts. 7 accounts for $160 compared to what I should normally be paying. Now I'm doing it with $20. It comes out to about 7 to 8 accounts. This is exactly the moment in your life when you truly need to take some risks.
Until the 23rd.
Yes.
Requested for birthdays. Let me put it this way. NextProp doesn't always offer such big discounts, guys. The biggest discount before this was on Black Friday. It was 80%. The discount they're offering this week in honor of their birthday is 75%. Otherwise, the discounts they usually offer aren't this big. Those who follow already know this. They're dropping the price of a 50K account from 169 euros to 90 euros. There's no 20 euro discount, but if you buy more than 3 accounts at the same time, you get an extra discount. 5.
5, and then
It also discount 3 more. Professor?
I don't know.
Today, someone wanted to buy 3, so I went in, bought them, and suddenly a green thing popped up saying fastest or something like that. That's what I said. It said get an extra discount, so I got that 50K account for 100 euros today.
Super. If you don't take a risk with this account today, then when will ya?
That's why evaluation.
So it's an evaluation account. Bonchuk is here, and I'm here too. We either take care of him in half an hour or move on. That's it. I mean, we don't even put him through that much torture.
Don't forget our Black Friday night if you want.
Oh, that, President.
It was a fun night, really.
It was bad that it happened on the weekend, Professor. Otherwise, maybe 10 more.
Go ahead, let it be written for Munging. It ends on the 23rd. When is the 23rd anyway? We're entering next week. Again, I mean. The 23rd ends on Tuesday.
I'm waiting for Monday, Professor. I'll get it.
Think Monday. Go in with big risk on Monday. Go in with big risk. You can do a funded in 1 day. You couldn't do it. It blew up. Take 15 euros. Reset it. Let it stay. Then when the slow discount ends, you stop.
I mean, after the discount is over, you don't need to pay 70 or 80 lira again for a reset. After that, calmly, just nodle. At that hour, you shouldn't be taking risks anymore.
By the way, after it becomes fund debt, the TC42 code applies. Teacher, that's the monthly 95 contract fee.
Yes, it applies there too.
Those friends, the ones who have funded, shouldn't skip it. They should take advantage of that too.
Yes, there's another 10% discount there, monthly, per month. That comes to about 85 lira, like that. Yes.
For 85 lira.
We already get the special discounts and share them with you on a monthly basis.
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
Teacher, can I ask something about the bot?
Go ahead and ask. Okay, box and all, gladly. Miss Birchu, teacher, here as well.
both about the funds and about the bot. Teacher, normally we can copy in funds on us. Up to how many can we do it with the bot?
How? Are you talking about doing it as a copy?
I mean, the teacher would know better how much is allowed, but there's nothing that says Fibo.
That's the right address. Then you should ask me.
Yes.
The highest number of copies I've ever made in a single trade was 58 accounts. But that depends on your computer setup, the processor. It's something that really strains and complicates things, and you have to be aware that you're taking a very big risk. If there's a mistake, you need to have all your emergency systems ready at hand, whether it's closing it manually or through the website.
I understand, sir. So, for example, I thought I'd buy some now since they're discounts, like 5 or 10. I was thinking I could use copy trading, just to try it out and maybe keep them. That's why I asked.
Yes.
All right, then. Sounds good.
Thank you, sir. Sir, would anything happen if we bought 30 or 40?
No, it wouldn't.
Too much, man. This is just what I expected from you.
If you buy 30 or 40, I already sent a JRTL sub. It goes straight to Fandit.
Become a champion, man.
It's too much, man. I was just about to message you on Telegram.
Yes, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much. We kept you waiting for this, but I think it was worth it.
Absolutely. Birkenhojam, thank you so much for your words, your effort, and everything you've done. Honestly, I want to thank you again in front of everyone. Thank you for all your efforts, your knowledge, your hard work, the countless hours, the endless crises, the happy moments we've shared with you, and even our arguments.
Thank you, sir. We wouldn't be here without you. Let's keep going. Let's stay on the road. We always said all for one and one for all.
Yes.
Thank you. Wishing you good health from your hard work.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. Abdullah and Miftap, who are behind the scenes here and not visible, also put in a lot of effort. We used them like test subjects. We used them so many times, even tortured them.
There was nothing else we could do.
They really put up with our efforts and our nagging. I sincerely thank them as well.
Thank you to all our teammates.
Thank you so much, everyone, Professor.
All right, friends, I'm stopping the recording now.